class it, I guess. And it's more of learning the difference between the Instagram audience and your Facebook audience.
It's
And
definitely
it's been
different.
huge to learn people messaging me on Instagram
Yeah.
that are moving from different states versus people who are more local that I've been getting
Yeah.
on Facebook. So
Very interesting.
yeah, it's fun. I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like trial and error, I guess,
Yeah.
every time.
If you don't do it, you'll never learn
Right.
what
Yeah.
really works.
Yeah, and for me, I'm doing the videos for the long game. I've probably
Yeah.
only gotten like 2 leads from videos, to be honest with you. It's not a ton, but I'm doing it specifically for like my sphere too. So I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and we've learned in Ignite, like don't be a secret agent and who can refer you that you know already. So
Yeah.
that's a huge part of what I'm doing as well, just letting, telling people I got my head on, I know what I'm doing. Look,
Yeah.
I sound really smart in this one. Trust me with your home.
That's so funny.
So, yeah. Oh, thank you.
It's so important, and we'll touch on the importance of social media in your lead generation in this class today, so that's why I bring that up.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry, this is my first time meeting you.
Oh yeah, I'm Sarah Anderson. I'm a new agent pretty much. I have my license in Utah and here.
Very cool.
She's in the story too.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my license here and then we immediately moved to Utah and then I got it there and then we immediately moved back. So I'm ready to get
Awesome.
started.
State
I'll get
school.
there sometime.
That's awesome.
Yeah. so
Are you
I'm
on individual,
not
on a team? Okay.
Yes, I'm looking around to see if it's the right thing.
Okay,
So,
there you go.
uh-huh.
And have you been to the last 2 Ignite classes?
Yes, I have.
Very cool. Okay, awesome. And what's your name?
I'm Corey.
Corey.
I'm on the Kenny Klaus team.
Very
I've been in real estate about a year, but I just joined this brokerage last month. And I went to the last Ignite, but not the first one,
Okay.
just the last one.
Okay.
So, just starting.
So have you been to Bold? You said you've taken Bold.
Yeah, I did Bold last year.
Okay, how was your experience with Bold?
Oh, I loved it. I don't know if you know Ty Les,
Yeah.
was my team leader.
Oh, fun.
And he was like my mentor
Good.
all through that, and so he was probably the reason why I stayed in real estate and
Wow.
Bold with all the scripts and stuff, cause coming in, you don't know how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
You feel like you're like a fraud or like, what are you doing, right? And so it helped a ton being comfortable and it forces you to have those conversations.
Okay, very cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So Corey and Sarah, everybody else I knew, and Alicia, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I've been in real estate for almost 3 months. I'm an independent agent and this is my first time in it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
My name is Michelle. I got my license in August, beginning of August. I first got my license with EXP, so I just moved over to Keller Williams 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm with the Built On Partners in Phoenix.
Okay.
But this is just a lot closer, so.
Got it.
I am closing on my first contract next week.
Awesome.
Excited, 'cause I've got 3 under contract, and this is the first one that's actually gonna close.
Awesome.
Excited. That's awesome.
So you transferred, you were first at EXP. What made you change to Keller Williams, if you don't mind me asking?
Training.
Got it. Okay.
I don't think I've ever met anyone in EXP, so
Got it.
it was just hard. I had a mentor, but he was busy and I
Yeah.
barely ever saw him. It was more phone and I just needed more in person.
Gotcha. Well, we are happy to have you.
You're in the right place.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. I had a lot of people tell me that. So.
Jeff.
Jeff, yes, been licensed since 2001, but part-time until just a couple months ago, was able to go full-time. And this kind of reminds me, since I'm the only guy in the class today, I was a sophomore in high school, and I took this thing called a typing class. And I got to sit next to the homecoming queen that was a senior. So, it was pretty popular. I was a pretty popular guy because I got, but anyway, and that kind of reminded me, it's an honor to be with all you ladies this morning.
Well, we're happy that you're here. The bravest man alive today.
So individual right now, possibly looking to 14, and I think we'll be
Very cool. Awesome. Well, we are going to be talking about find your business. Find your business, where to get it from, different lead generation opportunities. Ignite is, just so you know, Ignite is about doing, not just listening, okay? Not just listening and learning. The best way to learn is by implementation. So what I would encourage you to do is anything that you hear in here, at least take one thing and apply it immediately. We walk out of the door, when you go back to open your laptop or do whatever, try to apply that today, okay? I'm talking to you, Paula. I can see you connecting with me. I'm just teasing.
Okay, you'll talk to me all day.
I'm just but it is important because what happens is as days continue to go on, if you don't use those tools, you're going to forget. You're going to forget. Welcome. You're going to forget, and you're going to learn something at the next Ignite, and now it's going to start to feel like a rock. Yeah, it's going to feel like a boulder. It's just getting bigger and bigger. And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. If you do one thing, that is the success. You don't even have to get a result from it. Just do it. Right? That's the result of that done. Got a check mark. Right? You have a lot of stuff to do, so. You'll be fine. I know it. So we're going to talk about finding your business, prospecting and lead generating using multiple methods, and the reason why you want to have multiple methods, connect with potential clients, and then how to obtain referrals from your existing clients and your sphere. So we'll go into how to maximize that and everything like that. So we're going to start class off with a video, and then we'll get into it. I hope this didn't lock. Actually, you guys, for those of you that were here, did you guys do your daily 10-4? Sorry. You were here. Why didn't you do it?
Totally couldn't get into my KW Connect, Susie, and I'm gonna.
Okay.
And we have.
So, and this is an accountable moment. So does everybody know what the daily 10-4 activities are? Is this your first Ignite?
Second.
Okay. So I'll give you one of these actually.
Can I have one too, Tia, please?
Yeah. Who says?
I
Okay.
don't know what that
So the daily 10-4 is designed so that you're constantly lead generating, so that you are hitting your contacts. You're welcome. Hitting your contacts. You got one? Got one?
Yes.
You need one?
Yeah, it's fine, I'll grab it later.
Okay. Let me grab Matt and have
I'm
him
just
talk.
curious
So
what
see
it
this-
looks like.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Matt, are you still up here? I'll give you guys a copy on a break.
Yeah, no worries.
Here you go, Jamie. So it's designed so that you are completing those activities. So, and I need one to just.
You too.
Thank you. So it is, so you're building and you're managing your database. So your goal in Ignite is to do add 10 people to the database. So that's what you should be doing on a daily basis.
Breakfast is here.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
So adding 10 people to your database every day, you have to feed it. If you don't have a growing database, you have a dying business. So that's one of your goals. So I'm coming back to you, Paula, only because that's what Ignite is for accountability.
Right.
So getting into KW Connect should not stop you from finding 10 new people to add, right?
Mhm.
So did you do some activities this week or between yesterday and,
Yes, I went to the call
okay. And did you talk to people?
frenzy. I got 2 answers.
Wait, there was a call frenzy last night? Oh, I didn't know that.
Not here, it was.
Oh,
at-
okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
But Susie sent out a message to,
Her group.
yes.
Okay. So you
From
spoke to
4 to
people.
6.
So did you add anybody to your database? Okay. But you were doing activities, which
Yes.
is good.
I spent 2.5 hours there.
How many people did you speak to?
2.
Oh, 2.
I got 2 people answered.
Okay. So did you do any follow-up to that?
No, I haven't.
So the daily 10-4, so adding 10 people to your database, 10 connections, right? So being, if you didn't add, even if you spoke to 10 and you didn't add all 10 to the database, now you gotta find another 10 until you get to that 10 number. You don't just stop. 10 thank you notes, so all those people that you connected with, write thank you notes to them. So like yesterday we door knocked. So we're not knocking on doors, we're talking to people. We already have your address, all you gotta do is write a thank you note. And that's an opportunity for them to follow up, you to follow up, or the next time you knock on their door, hey, I just wanted to check and see if you got my note. Did you want to join our newsletter? Did you want to do, you're building the relationship. Okay? Alicia, did you do your daily 10-4? A little bit. Tell me what you did.
I did try to call my friends today.
Call your friends? That's good.
Did you need to buy a
How many did you call?
Just two.
Why did you stop at 2?
Oh, I had to work around the job. And I think most they had the house already, so I just came out.
Okay.
My closest friend and had them.
Okay. What do you do for work with your other job?
I'm a nail technician.
A nail technician? Okay. How many people nails did you do?
Salon.
You said a lot? So, could you ask each one of those people, hey, just so you know, I'm in real estate. Are you thinking about buying or selling a home? Would that be a conflict at your job?
No, it's not conflict.
There you go.
Sometimes.
Could be.
It's like, that's good to add to plan about that when I'm doing
Gotcha.
my job.
Gotcha. Okay. Just, if you can find a way where it comes up in conversation, look at that. Because if your goal is to make a transition, that's a perfect place for you to build your database.
Yeah, that's what I would do too.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of time and things.
Yep. Hey, Brian.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So we're gonna go through the daily 10-4, finish that.
Take your
and
time,
then
I'll stick around.
I was gonna say I can let you speak and then or we can do a little bit of calling. Okay, so Mallory, you shadowed door knocking. Is there anything you wanna share? Did you learn anything yesterday? I know it was a little dead on the 50 doors we knocked, but
Well, for the one lady that we had, Sandy, she answered her door. She alluded to like, oh sorry, like I'm cleaning. My daughter's getting married here on Saturday.
Mhm.
So like Tia's first thing was, okay, her daughter's getting married. She's probably gonna need a house because she's now getting married. So like, we'll send her a thank you card, you know, for talking with us and hope the wedding went well. So like,
yeah.
just building rapport with them, like that's awesome.
Yep. And she was super nice. Like even though she was cleaning, she's like, I'm not gonna shake your hand because my hands are nasty. You know, she was extremely polite. There were some people that weren't. There was no soliciting signs. That was an interesting neighborhood. Everybody wanted you to not solicit, and they all had ring
Everybody had
doorbells.
ring doorbells.
Freeman love those.
Have you ever had to have a conversation?
Yes,
It's so
through
weird,
it.
right?
Hi, I'm just gonna drop
Yeah.
this off and yeah.
It's so funny.
It was like at every house, and I was like, okay. And everybody had like 5 dogs in their house. So it was just like noisy. I was
Do you skip the house if there's a no soliciting sign?
I'm not gonna say you should skip it, or I'm not gonna tell you what you should or shouldn't do. What I do is I still knock on the door. And what I say is, just so you know, I saw your no soliciting sign, so I wasn't gonna leave anything. I was just coming in to introduce myself and let you know I'm the preferred realtor for the area. And then, like one lady, I thought she was gonna totally flip out. She's like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. Yeah, no problem. You can leave that for me. She was on the phone too. Yeah, you can leave it. And so usually if I acknowledge that this is that, or this is the deal, they're okay. Or sometimes they'll say, oh, that was here when we moved in.
Yeah.
Or if I say, I'm not trying to leave you anything, we're doing an open house at the street, done a lot of marketing, we're gonna have a lot of traffic, and I figured you might wanna know that just in case you have anything going on tomorrow. And so they'll usually be like, oh, okay, which house? You know, and they'll get into conversation with you. So just have a game plan in mind if you do choose to knock the no soliciting. Ask the broker, go with what the broker says. I tend to operate in the gray a little bit, so,
we
you know,
definitely avoided some of them with really
aggressive. Some people
aggressive
were very
signs.
aggressive.
So we're like, if you knock, things are gonna get real.
Yeah, somebody did have a sign that says, no soliciting. She said, no soliciting, do not knock. If you do, shit will get real. So that one I skipped.
You laughed about it.
Yeah, like I think we could skip that one. I don't wanna get shot.
Yeah.
It seemed like that's where that was headed, you know, I don't wanna be somebody's target practice.
Yeah, I had one just like that though, and it was like, seriously, don't knock, like, go away right now, like, da, da, and I still knocked, and she was like, oh, that sign, yeah, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, it just
So
totally
weird.
pops up, yeah.
I know. So anyway, there you go. And then we saw a lady on the street that was loading her car, and I'm like, and she just seemed like she was a cleaning company. I said, oh, do you have a cleaning company? And she's like, oh yeah, but it's just me, and we established communication there. So think about that too when you're knocking doors, because sometimes there's contractors in the neighborhood, and those could be partners, preferred partners that you can build relationships with too. Make sense? Paige, you weren't here the last two, so you weren't doing the 10-4. How about you?
Yes, I've done my
Okay.
10-4, and I've actually combined my 10-4 with kind of my goals
Yes.
as well. So I've created my own kind of tracking sheet,
Good.
and yeah, and then that includes like classes or education I want to do for the
Yep.
month, door knocking days, open houses as well. So
Yep. So you really are working off your 411, it sounds like.
Milo.
411, do you know what 411?
Yep.
That's what it sounds like it is.
Okay, it's a combination of daily 10-4 and the core.
Got it.
What
Yep.
I got from my preferred lender. So
Yep,
yeah.
I know what that is.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So how many people did you talk to yesterday?
Yesterday it was my husband's birthday, so I only got 10 done.
Okay.
I'm trying to average like 20 a
Okay.
day. Tuesday was my best day at 26, and I actually added 11 to my database,
Very
which is
good.
fantastic. Yesterday I only added 3 to my database.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Did you do any thank you notes?
Yes,
Good.
love thank you notes. Yeah, I've been nailing the door knocking with the cooler weather,
Yep.
and it's been really good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good
Mhm.
job.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. How about you? Did you do your daily 10-4?
I have been doing a lot of prospecting, like even just activating a new phone, like
Okay.
just talking to them.
Good.
So I've been doing it a lot. I've just been waiting for my website to get up and running. So
Okay.
that's been my thing, but I've been taking notes.
When you say waiting for your website, what does that mean?
So I just barely signed up, and so they're getting it up and running, the tech support.
Okay.
Yeah,
So have you been getting but you've been getting contact information, you just haven't put it in?
exactly.
Got it. Okay, got it. Okay, very good. Corey. See, you remember?
I did a lot of different things, but I did not track it to see
Okay.
if I did anything, so.
Do you regularly track your numbers, usually? Cause you're on the team, so I'm sure the team
It's
probably tracks.
been kind of a mess, cause I just switched teams.
Got it.
So, I'm working on it.
Okay.
But I'm definitely excited to implement this.
Okay. Track your numbers because it's gonna tell you how many people you need to speak to in order to hit a certain goal. So like certain goals that my team needs to make, we have a huge contact goal. And so we're looking like, okay, how can we get it in front of more people because we're not gonna do it doing this. We need to do this, this, and this. So it's important to track those so that you know and so you can figure out if you need to do more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
Can start.
And I didn't get your name.
My name's Jamie.
Jamie. 2 Jamies in here. All right. So Jamie, you weren't in the last 2 classes you said. Did you say that?
The only one I went to was,
The last one.
Wednesday. The
Okay.
last one on Wednesday, yeah.
Did you do your daily 10-4?
I don't know what that was until today.
Okay. So have you been doing any lead generation, calling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just switched teams also. I've just been in the business for a few months now, so, just kind of getting everything in the system and telling everything on my people and
Okay.
stuff like
Are you
that.
on the Kitty Claus team as well?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many people you spoke to yesterday?
No. Didn't really do a whole lot. We had like a lab where we were running through ideas of what we're gonna do for lead gen.
Okay.
The team was, so that was
Okay.
most of it yesterday.
Are you taking gold right now?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's go to Jamie.
This is my first Ignite class.
That's right, you did say
First
that.
time I got this. I did talk to about 8 people yesterday,
Okay,
and I wrote them down
okay,
in
that's
like
good.
a spreadsheet that I have at home.
Do you have a CRM that you're using?
I'm gonna use the one that I have, but I just got with Matt and my website isn't up and running either.
Okay,
There was something wrong with my password and I had to call tech support, so.
Okay. all right, very cool. So you're gonna start using eEdge, I'm guessing?
Mhm.
Okay, very cool. So do you have it in your daily practice to, like, you spoke to 8 people, did you do any thank you notes? What's your follow-up look like?
I did thank you notes, and I spoke to this guy and we were talking about him living in front of a canal and how the animals are back there and stuff. So I went to the dollar store and I got a little stuffed animal about the animals that we were talking about going in his backyard. And I have a certain neighborhood that I've been farming, so I put thank you notes and I put personalized gifts on the ones that actually spoke to me for more than like 10 minutes.
Nice.
That correlated to our conversation.
Very
And then he called me back and told me that he took my business cards to work and passed them on to me.
Very nice.
Nice.
That's
I
cool.
know.
That's great.
Where does he work?
Intel.
That's good. I was about to say, see if you can get in there and do a lunch and learn, but
Okay.
Intel may not let you, but maybe you can take them out or something, happy hour, you never know.
Intel has like a housing specialist because they have a lot of people relocating.
Gotcha.
And so he was able to take my.
Oh, that's good.
I know.
That's
It's
amazing.
nice. I
That's
love
good.
him.
Yeah.
Well, good, you made a good connection.
I know.
So send him another thank you.
I know, right?
Gift card for the sick thing.
Oh, that would be good, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. How about you, Michelle? What about your daily 10-4?
This is my first Ignite as well, but I do try to do daily activities.
Okay.
Yesterday, I went to American Furniture Warehouse from yesterday.
Okay.
A lot of the customers, they weren't, I mean, they
Yeah.
were talkative up until like that point when I would hand them a card and then it was
Gotcha.
fine, but
Gotcha.
didn't get their condition, so I do try to do something like this every day though.
Very cool. All right. So just have to figure out a way, how can we convert those to contacts to add to your database so you can grow that?
Yeah, open houses are a lot easier. with
They
that.
are, because they're really looking for real estate.
Yeah.
They're real estate minded.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. How about you, Jeff?
I did make 10 calls yesterday. I called some people from my old job, was able to get their information. 3 of them I added to the database.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 I reconnected with people that were already on our database and did send out thank you notes.
Very cool. All right. And you guys have missions that you had to complete too? Did you guys go over that in the last class? Was it to update your KW profile? Mm-hmm.
Set the website.
Yep. So some of you guys are working through that with password resets and things like that. Here's why that's important to update. The reason it's important to update because when agents are looking for referral agents, especially if they're other KW agents, it's easier for them to find you. So I usually, like the way that I did my profile on KW is a way that makes it stand out. Because we used to have white pages, now it's whatever, the KW Connect, I don't know, Kelly thing, I don't even know. But the way that it used to be is it was KW white pages and you just put in your profile. What I always saw is, I love your referrals, I love your referrals. That's all I would see. Nobody would have anything that stood out. So I put in my profile, I'm excited to work with your clients. I make sure I communicate with you and them on a weekly basis. This is why you want to work with me. Like I put very detailed of what they could expect if they refer their deal to me. And I get a pretty good amount of business that comes from referral out of state. And so if you're looking at strategies, also consider what your out-of-state strategy looks like too. So even if it's somebody in Vancouver, if they're agents that you connect with that you would refer to, put them on your drip. Make sure that they know what you're doing too, so that they feel excited to find somebody to send over to Harley. Yeah.
Like, how do you do that communication though? Because I just referred somebody, I have a friend in California that's moving, and I referred her agent in California. How do you market to that agent so that she'll send you people if they're moving to Arizona? How would you differ?
So I do the exact same way.
Okay.
Like I would do a regular prospect. I would send her a thank you note. I'd add her on social media. I'd reach out to her once a quarter. Same way I would do with anybody else. Just checking in. Do you have anybody that's relocating? How have you been? How's your family? You just build a relationship like you would anybody else.
Okay.
I have one same situation, agent from California. Her parents are here. She has friends here. And the biggest way for me to stay in touch with her is social media. I comment on all of her stuff, say hi, whatever. So that's the biggest way in my opinion. Social media is like huge.
I think if it's KW to KW, they can connect through the Kelly app. And you can, right?
Yeah, you can. Okay.
Not quite yet.
No, you're right. You definitely can connect through the Kelly app. What you'll notice is there's broadcasts that'll come through based on whatever parameter. Have you guys used Kelly at all? So there's 2 ways that you can do it. You can do it directly from the app and say, hey Kelly, find me agents in Phoenix that service blah blah blah, and it'll find those agents. But if you go online, if you go on the desktop version, then you can actually set parameters, meaning they had to sell at least 5 homes in this price range or this particular area, and then it will only send it out to those agents. I personally don't use that technique because I need to know I need to speak to the person and make sure they're gonna have the same level of customer service that I would give a client, that they have the same level of service I would give a client. I can't get that through just an app referral, but you can do it in a quick way. It can at least narrow it down for you.
To answer the phone, that's a good start, right?
Man, it happens too. I'll call. One time I had a referral for some random place in Texas. It was like a small town. And I called 15 agents, not one answered the phone.
Wow.
And not one even called me back. Wow. That was even worse. Like, okay, I get if you can't answer your phone, but never a call back.
Wow.
Did you leave a message?
I always leave messages. If I'm calling an agent and I have a referral.
There's no excuse then.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't expect a call back if I don't leave a message.
Exactly.
Because
That's
I
what
don't.
I was gonna say, 'cause I don't call back. If you don't leave a message, I won't call you back.
Yeah, unless you're like my family, then I'm like, okay, what do you want? So anyway, so I want to bring Brian up so he can chat and tell you what he brought you for breakfast and tell you about his business. So Brian Gessing is with People's Mortgage. He has a Geffing team. He's been a partner with Keller Williams for like
2014, yeah. I think it was 2014.
Okay, so like.
It was really close when you came over too, right?
I came over in 2013.
Yeah,
but
it was right around that
close.
time, yeah.
So close to 5 years.
Definitely.
So Brian's team does a great job. If you are looking for a lender partner, definitely consider him. We do a thorough job of vetting our preferred partners. And so, you can definitely trust them, but I'll let you speak for yourself.
We just had a fun deal, about a month and a half ago.
Ronnie, yes.
Yeah, the little deals are always the toughest deals. This customer, wow.
She just texted me the
she
daughter.
did?
The
Yeah.
daughter just texted me like, hey, can you send me my home warranty information? My refrigerator is not cooling off, which is a good thing because you want them to think of you.
That's right.
All the time. So
For sure.
anyway, but that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But I appreciate the introduction.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know Tia, I know Jeff a long time. You know, I got in the business in 2007. It was September of 07, so I just passed my 11-year mark. Can't believe it's been 11 years and I have all these gray hairs to thank for being in the business.
Very nice. Looks good on you.
Thanks. I'm not a big fan of it, but yeah, it's been quite a ride. I've been, like I said, involved with this office since 2014, and that's not a coincidence. I love the people here, the great leadership, and you guys are lucky to have these, excellent trainers and coaches and through this program. I mean, you're gonna learn a lot from Tia and all the other coaches that are teaching the Ignite classes. So give yourselves a pat on the back for even, being here, because your competition and newer agents are not, taking the time to invest in their business. So if you guys want to grab something to eat before it gets cold, I was told no bagels, no pizza, so I got breakfast burritos. So,
there you go. That's a win.
But yeah, just People's Mortgage, I've been with them since 2016, and I run a small branch in downtown Gilbert. So we have a really awesome location, and it's just a lot of fun to work there. And we do a lot of down payment assistance programs. Well, I'd say about half of our clients are first-time home buyers. So we do a lot of the down payment assistance programs. We have 4 different ones that kind of cater to all those first-time home buyers, so keep that in mind. If you have clients that need help with that, or have questions on on that type of stuff. Market-wise right now, it's kind of crazy. I just read an article that mortgage applications are at the lowest point right now in the last 4 years, and that's due to interest rates going up. Buyer demand is going down because rates are up. Us especially are in an inventory situation, which I'm sure you guys talk about. Inventory shortage of houses here, and so there's just more demand than there is supply, and
we're starting to see supply increase now.
Yeah, because of buyer demand is starting to come down. So I can't tell you how many clients that I have, and they call in and they want a $1,200 payment or a $1,000 payment, and it's just like you work the numbers backwards, and it's just impossible to get them anything that fits their budget. So it's definitely challenging, but I think the agents that are doing the prospecting all the time, adding people to their database, doing the lead generation, you're gonna make it through this this time, and then another 4 or 5 years from now it's gonna be crazy like it was 2 or 3 years ago. Crazy good. So so yeah, that's all I got.
Do you have cards we can just pass out?
Yeah, I have some cards. I'll follow up with everyone from the class today if you have the list, and then
we need a list.
the sign-in sheet.
I need to ask. When
I can grab it from
we
downstairs.
break. Oh, there it is. Actually, there it is.
Cool.
So
yep,
very cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
pass it around
Yeah.
every time.
Any mortgage questions? Program questions?
No?
You guys are too easy. Yes.
So with like the down payment assistance, is there anything in this area, or is it all like?
Yeah, there's Home 5, there's Home Plus, there's Shinoa Fund. The only one that's specific to an area is Pathway to Purchase. And that one we were excited that it was coming back. It was out in 2016, and they actually reallocated some more funds for Phoenix and Glendale and some cities, surrounding cities. The first time around, it was actually in Maricopa City, just really far out areas. So we thought it'd be similar to that when they rolled it back out this year. But they've actually said, okay, this time we're going to do Phoenix, we're going to do parts of Glendale, we're going to do Casa Grande, and some other outerlying cities. But there's such a small amount of funds allocated. It's already 2 months in advance. It's already burned through. So we haven't been promoting it because we don't want a client to get excited about it, get qualified for it, and not be able to use it. So that's really the only one that's specific to an area right now. So the Home Plus can be used anywhere up to almost a $400,000 sales price. And so that's usually the one that we're doing most of the time is the Home Plus program, and I could definitely send you some information on that.
That'd be great, thank you.
Awesome. Any more questions for Brian? Okay.
Thank you
Well,
guys.
if you want to grab your
get
breakfast
some
burrito, and then we're gonna make some calls. So what I recommend is you take your top 10 people that you know them, or if you have a lead you need to follow up with, that's a good opportunity to call them. But you want to call people that you've actually met, and then just introduce yourself. If you're in the book, there are scripts to call. There's a referral script when you're calling for if you're calling a referral. There's a new to real estate script, new to Keller Williams scripts. So the scripts are in your book. You guys all have that?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't? Do you have your laptop with you?
No.
Okay.
You
So,
can share off mine.
I have a
perfect.
script book downstairs.
Yeah?
You go get it.
Yeah,
You make copies of it.
yeah, that'd be good. Can you just have Janine or Matt make the
I
copy?
mean, it's a big book.
Oh, not all of them, just, if they can share, that'll probably be easier. Yeah.
Oh, this is her pen.
I actually have an extra script, but I mean.
Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you get one?
Yeah, there's not any up here. So yeah, so we're just gonna take about 15 minutes. You guys can call. There's burritos over there.
The Ignite binder?
We'll work with the office on that.
Okay.
So you guys, we're just gonna take about 20 minutes. You guys will make the phone calls, and then we'll check back in and see what your results are, and then we'll talk about the process.
Yeah.
Ready?
You guys get up at 4? I was so confused. I thought, yeah, I did. In my truck. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was like, I couldn't get in. And then I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't. And I didn't bother with all my open up. I missed communication there.
I think that's cool. I'm gonna go see if they got your book. Oh, your script. There's scripts in there. Okay. So you never got my book? Okay, so I'll ask them.
I like to play with my cell phone, like the sausage are big and so I got to play on
Is
it.
anybody else lacking a map of Ignite book?
Oh!
That one's gonna be a little short.
That was an early awakening.
Yes.
So Matt said I would take them, get me access for notes.
They'll be in the first line.
Saying like I have all my. Not a big deal. I just wanted to, like I checked it this morning and it wasn't on there yet, so.
What did you to get the line last night, they set up my key on here, and then I got the new one, which I have
Oh, you got one?
send me a new.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to go do it, and it was error in house.
Yeah, because you have to get it set up again. I'll tell you first, so you gotta go directly to our office. I'm gonna go downstairs and check out books. You guys, so 20 minutes of actual calling. I just like.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Arizona first, but okay, give me the little like, tour of it,
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentation, all that, I got some world and stuff. It's like, interesting, so we follow them.
Oh, I didn't know. What do you, what You want to? Yeah. Yeah. Especially when they're making calls, somebody might.
Yeah, it's mainly like lead generation tool, right, for the most part?
We're all lead gen, like how to find prospecting, how to find your leads, how to get on sites, get reporters, all that.
Just talking about having a CRM or anything to track.
CRM is not a big part of the class,
Okay. But they're getting leads, like where they put in, how they keep track of
Yeah.
it.
But the biggest thing for people is those actual prospects.
Yeah, exactly, I know. It's the funniest thing, but doesn't matter how busy you are, that's, I think, new agents, they get a deal or two, and there's fun vision on that, and they don't, and they close them, and they have nothing for 2 months.
And I get why.
It's overwhelming, there's so much paperwork you need done, the process is different, every lender's a little bit different.
I know. I'm gonna go see if I can get books and then I'm gonna come right back.
Hi, how are you? There's been so many open houses, you know, February drive, right?
second, third, or page if you wanna see it. And then you don't have to put any other information in. I never do this, I never tell my buyer's name. You can change it to just permits, and then you just go yes. And then it'll either, some people have it on.
Anybody get a contact yet?
Call my dad, I got a number.
Good job.
Once it's confirmed.
So you're about to call the employee now?
He's at NASCAR right now.
Okay.
Friday through Monday, he can't be there. My dad said he'll be available on Tuesday. So
Okay.
I can text him. He won't be able to hear you.
Well, all right, let's just keep calling then. Anybody else get a contact?
Number.
Anybody else, anybody,
You're at the doctor's office.
anybody trying to avoid the calls?
I don't know if he's trying to avoid them or if the burritos just
I'm just really hungry.
You were just really hungry. We gotta do the calls, no matter what.
I should have brought my other stuff.
Yeah, what I always notice in the calling section, people try to delay the calling. And I always say, the way you perform in this class is indicative of how you'll perform out there. So make the call, guys, don't avoid it. Do it.
What? Your drink. Hi, Peter. It's Cory. How are you? I'm good. Thanks for asking. I just wanted to touch base with you. How are things going with you and your wife and the adoption? Going as planned? Right. Right, well, are you guys, I see you guys are still looking at the houses online. Do you guys wanna go out and start looking at any?
Good morning, Dad. This is Paula.
So do you want me to move the search down maybe a little bit more to include some smart stuff?
I was just following back
Our
on this.
conversation yesterday, and we
Things
were
are
kind
still
of busy.
on
Hopefully we can
hold
connect
with the
today,
Italian
maybe
Council
over
on
phone search.
Urgent
I'm
to-
just going to give me a call or text
I want
back.
you
My
still
phone number is
to-
480-300-2075. Thanks, have a great day.
Okay.
Right. Well, that's why I wanted to follow up with you and see if there was anything that changed with that. If your daughter had got all the information and was up to cost. Right.
Okay.
I'm debating on where I can eat this, where I'm not gonna be on camera.
Squat down behind the cart. Well.
Want to go on these chairs and go there?
Oh, okay. Did you turn the recording back on? Did it stop
It's
really?
congratulations.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
It looks like it was on, because Matt came up. Was it after Matt came back up to turn it on?
You talked to,
That's why you're talking.
last year, we had gotten,
Right.
I never stuck it.
I don't know if I'm still on.
Right, stay cool.
It's usually just.
Yeah, I think it's just.
Well, have you seen anything that you
I'm gonna take upside.
No.
Bacon Ryan for breakfast.
Yeah, you bet.
We have an amazing blender
I
and
have
so
been
many
watching
different
her.
brands. I
How
can
many
see-
friends?
I did too.
How's Brent?
Yeah.
His brain is sleep, and
Did
I've
you see the
actually,
one that's just,
glad to get him in contact with you.
He's great at sales, but,
And just get started with that, and just do what programs might be and options.
I've given past this.
And then he forget it forever.
Let me pull up some information on it. I was reading, I don't think it's just that listed.
Yeah, but I
you're in Seattle?
Right.
System is one of the
I think you're supposed to be up here for.
Hey Terry,
Well, good, that's what you're supposed to do.
Great day, I was just following up, so I was using my resume for your Gilbert message.
It's not just in your classroom.
Where we're actually at, and it's like where we're at. Okay, yeah, well, then I'll get Steve your information on how to get along once the bus time comes.
I was just thinking about, like, this is the first party I haven't been at.
Okay, yeah, I'll just probably do a whole day, and then they have a free, online process to apply, that's just free, you can do it on your time.
Thanks for taking the
But he's always there to walk you through it.
Don't even think
So it was just Melissa, right, wanting to from, but then,
I'm just saying thanks for using the website. Yeah, they never say.
right. Yeah, where we're at, it's different when you see it in person.
Yeah.
I know.
I love Seattle, like I would be there in a heartbeat, yeah.
Okay.
Kansas City.
Hi Lily, this is Paula from Keller Williams Realty. We met the other day.
This is Amy Malone from Keller Williams Realty.
We met at the mall the other day. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. And you were talking about,
Yeah.
I wondered, where are you working now?
Maybe it's just renting.
This is right now, next week, they're gonna be next business, so that's registered, and we're gonna search things, so these weeks, things have had a chance to touch base. We wanted to see how you're.
I met him from showing his
I'll
house.
send it and we'll see.
Oh, congratulations. Did you end up finding
Send
out?
me a text message when you are driving.
Oh, it's cool, enjoy your ride house.
Yes, and if you're still looking for
Is she still working at the same place?
We'll have a listing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's crazy, small world.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, you know, man.
Right.
This was my first
Let me
one.
get started.
And I did that.
Let's touch base with you.
I
Just
just went there.
maybe 10 minutes to tell me what you're looking for so I can start putting
When I lived in
on
North Phoenix,
a
my first
search.
one out
So
here.
this part can
And
kind of refine what
sometimes
you're
at the
looking
gym.
for.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving,
And one
where
night
are you working at?
No.
You know, we're young, crazy kids in Old Town all the time.
No.
Oh, okay,
So I'm at the-
okay, yeah.
Sir, thank you for taking my call.
Everybody. He's like, you know,
Yeah, wow.
we started high five and stuff. Then I see him at the gym.
But then it would make her drive really far.
And then it was, yes, and more years with me too. I'm like, no way. And
That's
it's-
crazy.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Okay, yeah, well, I will definitely.
He's a great guy.
Okay, perfect, well, I will keep that in mind then.
I've been
We'll
forced
update
on my
the
family.
system for you and see what we might be able to find.
Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah,
it's all over the
Right. Sometimes no, but also training your stuff. They do a great job. Yeah,
You know, like the part
and
is
the
fine.
kids, leaders and all that stuff. And ultimately, they take it up, they send it to the land.
And then we'll have Steve
Sometimes
give
it's
you a
very
call.
they send it,
And
they
just
don't like
get
it.
that started so you guys know where we're at.
But that will
and
let us
start
just
to
everything
search.
else. Just, yeah, it's really cool. I think I went over maybe 3 or 4 months of career. It's like, if you give up the control, you know, you don't.
No, of course, it's what I'm
You're
here
setting
for.
expectations. They tell you 24 and then 72 and a little bit more on, yeah. I
So,
still like that.
we'll get started, and again, you
But it has-
have my number, call me if you ever need anything, okay?
Yeah. It's just.
How do they get it?
They're just, I mean,
You saw that.
they have less overhead.
No,
and
no.
They don't have to, they don't have a
I
marketing
wasn't
department, they
invited.
don't have, you know.
I just knew you were going 'cause you told me
Just
about
less overhead, I mean, so they strip out a lot of stuff that we have, and a lot of stuff is stuff to support us and our realtors, you know, marketing department, and, you know, nice big office, and all this, you know, training room, all that type of stuff, it all costs money, and, you know, they don't really have any of that, but, so, it's the right model, I mean, especially as rates go up, I mean, his model is very attractive. Rates are flat, I mean, people are less sensitive on that kind of stuff.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
So, and he sent me some deals he can do, and then some people I've had that were, have to have the best rate or bust, I sent them to him, so.
With that whole Honda thing with
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm sure it's good.
like that was the worst couple for that.
I know.
Like, where's your mom?
Well, when they said they were buying a condo, I'm
Head
like,
over there.
you know,
Then
it's-
you tried to back out. You didn't know this.
Oh, on this.
Yeah, we were supposed to go this weekend, and then Brian's like, can we go by Sunny's mom's house? And it's like, we can't just go by Sunny's house, ask her to make glue.
It's, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Is anybody
Hi
still
there,
on the phone?
Johnny, Carly Granholm from Keller
So
Williams.
wrap up your last call, you
Just
guys.
wanted to follow up with you, but
Two.
see how things were going and see how I can help. Let's get to please give me a phone call or a text message, whatever works best for you. My phone number is 480-300-300. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
I really so lessons I just started work yesterday. I'm like, we worked on that. So we canceled or you and then at least half there. Yeah. Monday through Friday was in the office. And then like going out on appointments.
If you ever have time, I say you just try to schedule it, even if it's only for 2 hours. It's so interesting how much you can learn just from working out of there. Just because hearing the conversations, giving some indications, some people here, it's a, for me, it's just working with and even still, even now, still, like I have conversations now,
So
oh my god. And it's like, you don't see it on slide. So if I could open the area with your computer consultation, you can set up. Okay. Good for him. Good. Anybody can talk to any one person represents her, right? So it's like I said, it's when there's more people in there and more conversation.
Would I ever be able to hear all of it? I'm probably not gonna know. This is like an hour away.
Yeah.
So it just was a waste of time to try.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was saying when I said, when you were saying this office is closed, that's what I was saying.
No, I came in here yesterday and just asked if I was able to take classes here, even though I'm not part of it.
You said you're, Amanda would let you too.
Okay.
Just ask her.
I think
Sure
we're
she would. Amanda's the team leader.
Okay.
So I'm sure she would let you.
Okay.
Yeah, cause we've done it for other agents. Yeah. You're welcome. Everybody wrap up with their last, oh, Mallory's still on the phone. You're fine. This tank top that keeps rising.
Oh, I hate those. I have somebody that is gonna be moving in 3 months.
They just told you that? Good. Did you know that before you called them? Would you have called them had you not been told to call today?
Not today, I wouldn't have thought of it.
Good. I'm
I was
glad.
looking through my phone, like, oh, I'm gonna reach out to her.
Good. I like it.
And I got all the results from the guy I've been working with because his dogs are totally gets him to live in her backyard.
Okay, that's interesting. That happens. All right. So we're going to resume. Is everybody off the phone? Yes, 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 yes. All right, let's talk. Anybody, what kind of results did you guys get? Anybody talk voicemails? That's okay. Did you leave voicemails?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And sometimes, even if they never call you back, just keep leaving the voicemails.
Yeah.
Just keep leaving them because one of the reasons I'm at Keller Williams is because the team leader kept leaving me voicemails. Like, I never called him back. I knew I was gonna come here, but I was just like, whatever, I'm not ready yet. And he kept leaving me voicemails, and he, out of all the brokerages that I looked at, he was the only one that kept calling and leaving voicemails. So I always think about that when I'm calling a lead and they never answer, or, you know, just people in general. The people that I tend to get referrals from are the people who I'm friends with on Facebook, but they never interact with me on there. Or anybody else, really. But anyways, well, not the only people, but I'm always surprised when I get those. All right, so voicemails, anybody get a contact that's gonna, you got.
So my dad gave me one of his employees' phone numbers to call, cause like I've kinda known he's wanted to sell his house. So I'm gonna give him a call when he's not at NASCAR, maybe I'll just send him a text and just let him know, and then I'll follow up with him on Tuesday, via phone call. And then I just my friend Sunny. She recently moved back home to Yuma. They've been renting, but she told me her lease is up in June.
Okay.
So I made note of that. And she likes the area that she's in, so I have her address, I like the area she's in, and just kind of maybe let her know, like, hey, these are what houses are going for, and just kind of give her an idea of, you know, or start preparing her mentally for what they need to say, what they need to do to get ready for June. I know I can't sell down there since it's Christmas, right?
I mean, technically you can sell down there because you're licensed in the state of Arizona, but you don't want to because that's not your area of expertise.
So,
you wanna find a
I'll
referral
find- yeah.
agent. Yeah.
For you.
Yep. I have something that you can do for her though. I'll show it to you later. Cool. Well, maybe not today, but next week. We'll get her added to it.
Yes.
That's good. So here's what I'll say. Your dad gave you a referral, so remember your family, treat them like you would treat anybody else. Make sure you send them a thank you note. Like, he'd probably be like really shocked to get a thank you note from you. So
I'll give it
just
to him with his chicken wings I take over every Sunday.
mail it to
No.
him.
Okay.
Mail it to him.
My mom will read it. Never opened mail this way.
That's so funny. Yeah, just think, it's, you'd be surprised how often your family will be like, wow. And it'll, cause what it does is it reinforces the behavior. So it reinforces for them to continue sending you referrals because they got that feel good, that feel good emotion.
Yeah.
You spoke to somebody, who did you speak to?
I spoke to Lily, somebody I met at the mall, wearing my name tag.
Nice.
And she was new in JCPenney salon doing facials, and she's left here and opening a place in Central Phoenix.
Okay.
So we talked about her sending me her information so I can send her referrals.
Okay.
And while we were talking, she said, I said, if you know anybody who's looking to sell, she said, well, we're gonna move in 3 months.
Good.
Start looking in 3
That's
months.
awesome. So 3 months equals a month and a half.
And I asked her if we
Yeah, that's so true.
I asked her if we could have a conversation after Thanksgiving to start a portal
Yeah,
so that she could see what's available.
good. So good, send her,
I like how you let out with the contribution, like I wanna,
Yeah.
I wanna get you referrals first before you ask for her business, that's great.
yeah, that's so true. And that's so you,
Thank you.
that's good. Paige, did you reach anybody?
No.
Did you try?
I mean, actually, I got a hold of one lady. who-
Okay.
She said she was casually searching a while back and she just was using our site, and I spoke with her and she's like, oh yeah, well, I ended up buying a home. And that was through a relative, so she didn't tell me the truth honestly the first time around, but still followed up, she bought a home, but I wish she would have just told me it was a relative she was living with. I don't know, I don't really know what to do when they say that, I just said congratulations, like, I'm glad you found a home.
Okay.
Like, what else do you do in that situation?
Does anybody have a suggestion on where she could take that?
Especially when they say it's like a family. She used a relative, like,
As a
she was like,
relative.
oh, well, my sister is a realtor, so she's the one who helped us. But like, we use the same system, so
Yeah.
that's where it comes through.
Yeah.
So I don't
So
know.
what I would say is, oh my gosh, and like, well, congratulations to you and your sister. What's her name? Maybe I'll know her. And then just as a courtesy, and then just say, well, I'm sorry, you know, I'm bummed that we didn't get a chance to work with you, but I'm glad you got a chance to work with your sister. Do you think that you would have an opportunity to refer us a friend or family member if they mentioned buying or selling a home? And she may say yes because she feels guilty that she just lied to you.
Her sister may only work in a certain area too.
That's true.
I would have never thought of that.
Okay.
Yeah, because like her sister may not even be licensed in another year. Like, there are so many different scenarios, so you want to continue to at least nurture the relationship to say, and you can still send her a thank you note like congratulations on your new house, because now she's in tax records that she bought a house.
Okay.
Congratulations on your new home. You know, looking at wishing you much success with your new house, something like that. That just shows you're still a professional, you're still a human being, and you can build off of that. You'd be surprised how many people will call you just from a call. Like I talked to a guy the other day on the phone, and he said, he was like, yeah, he was like, I have a realtor. He said, I bought my last 5 properties with her, so I'll probably be using her. Because I said, do you have a favorite realtor that you would refer business to if one of your friends or family members are looking for a house, even though you're not in the market right now? And he was like, yeah, I have a realtor that I bought 5 houses with her, so I'd probably refer her. And I said, wow, that's awesome. I said, if you've done 5 deals with her, that means she's awesome. I said, hold on to her tight because it's not easy finding good people to work with. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, here's the thing. I said, I don't want to interfere with that relationship that you have with your realtor. I said, however, not all personalities match every other personality, so I'd love to be your backup option. And he was taken aback by that. He was like, wow, yeah, you can have my contact. And I was like, hey, do you want to get a new market analysis on your house? He goes, yeah, I'll do that. So it's like, it's just, it's building the relationship, and he'll think of that. He'll remember that. He's like, he'll probably do it just to be nice. So just remember, just because they say no right now, that doesn't mean the end of that relationship. That's the beginning of that's the beginning of a relationship to get into a yes later. Even if it's yes, I'll refer you.
So did you put him on a drip campaign?
Yeah, so we're running this system called HomeBot. Have you heard of HomeBot? So we're running people on HomeBot, so I put him in there. Then it sends him updates every month on where he's at with his house, if he wants to buy an investment property, how close he is to paying it off, or if he wants to pay it off sooner, what his goals look like. And then I also sent him a CMA, and yeah, we put him in our newsletter campaign. Yep. So we'll do newsletter, and then I added him on Facebook too. I get them all on there.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, because you're more likely to establish a relationship on Facebook than you are anywhere else. Nobody's checking their emails.
Yeah, it's noisy out there, and the more they can see you, the better.
Mhm.
Say 12 to 16 times they have to see you to realize, oh, Tia, yeah, she's a realtor. That's
Yeah,
right.
for sure. So you spoke to, don't tell me. Dang it, I forgot. I'm so mad. Tell me one more time your name. Stop. My friend just got married named Sarah. You kind of looked like her when you walked in. I was like, wow. So it's funny that I forgot. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
Did you talk to anybody?
I left voicemail.
Okay. But you tried.
Yeah.
Good.
Just letting people know I'm back in the area.
Good. There you go. Corey, did you get a hold of anyone?
Yeah, I talked to a client I've been talking to for about a year, and they're finally getting around to ready to purchase. I know they're coming maybe in like January.
Okay.
So gonna start just touch base with them, let them know about the new team and things like that, and
Good.
getting in touch with the lender again today.
Good job. Okay. So stay on them.
Yeah, we're
Stay on
good.
them. How about you, Jamie? Did you get a hold of anyone?
I just spoke to the guy yesterday. I had my car in the dealership, and I spoke to him quite a bit, and I left him a few cards. So I just called him and followed up and thanked him and that type of thing.
Cool.
And I've just been working on really reconnecting with people in my database that I haven't in years. And so even like the guy that took us to like me and my friends to prom way back when I was 18, like randomly reconnected with him, and he wants to get an investment property out here. So I've just been working on
Good job.
Good.
Okay. Jamie, too?
Yeah, I left 2 voicemails.
Okay. Okay.
Is there a better time that you call when I'm on the phone? Because I feel like around this time or like
People always answer the phone. Those two may not, but that's why you gotta call. So when we do a call session, we're usually calling 200 people in between 9 and 11. So, and we call about 200 to talk to 20.
Wow.
Yeah. So to give you kind of some perspective, so you gotta keep dialing. And so that's our 20, and then we also call our database is, our sphere of influence is separate than like our dialer calling, because I'm not putting them on the dialer. Michelle.
I called one person who did not answer, but we've talked a couple times this week.
Okay.
He's a general contractor for flippers, so he said they're looking for a new real estate agent at the office, so we're trying to figure out a time to go get dinner and just talk.
Okay.
But I don't know how they got, so.
Okay.
And on that, I did text 2 people that I know are at work right now that we talked about, getting them to talk to one another, so.
Good.
Just connect with them.
So speaking of that, so remember too, don't forget to use text as an option. So if you have an opportunity to text someone, I don't know what CRMs you guys are using, I know Sync does, you can send a text message from the database. So if you don't have a database or you're looking at them, make sure that's one functionality of it, because that can be huge. It's a huge productivity booster. You can be on the dialer and still sending your text messages, hey, checking in, how are you? Hope you're having a good day at work, whatever, just to get that out there.
We use the system for all of our online leads, and it does texting, emails, and voicemails.
Yep. Oh, I love
Just yesterday, we had someone reply to the 11th touch. 10 touches, they didn't say anything, and the 11th touch, you're like, oh, sorry, I've been busy.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Like, you think, once, twice, 3 times, okay, like I'm gonna give up on this person.
Mhm.
You just gotta catch them at the right time. So
You do.
You know, if you don't have a system that does that, I would recommend, you know, having a manual system to plug that into, but it's happened multiple times.
Yep.
We closed the Zillow one about 2 months ago, where he was like the 5th or 6th attempt, and then he finally replied and we got
Yep.
pre-qualified. So you just don't try once or twice and give up. I mean, it could take 15, 20 times.
There was a lady that I was calling, and because I knew what I said to her in the CRM, what she said to me, because I documented it, and I called her every single month for 14 months. Hey Karen, hey Karen, hey Karen, how you doing? How was your surgery? How's Paul? How's the kids? How's your grandbaby? How's it? I got to know her.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so I know you guys aren't, when I was talking to her, she goes, yeah, we don't know if we're gonna sell anymore. We did just paint the interior and exterior. You're about to sell.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome. I said, you know what? The market is doing really good in your area. Let me do a CMA for you and I'll get that sent over, okay? And she was like, oh yeah, that'd be good. And so instead of me emailing her the CMA, I dropped it off like, hey, I was in the neighborhood. Wasn't in the neighborhood. I scheduled it. I was like, hey, I was in the neighborhood and I figured I could have emailed this, but I really wanted to get you to say hi in person since we've been talking on the phone for so long. She goes, I'm so happy you did. She goes, hey, why don't you just can you meet with me and my husband on Friday and we can sell. And when I sat down with him, she was like, yeah, the guy who did an open house across the street, and we did invite him in, and we were kind of going to go with him, but then we remembered you kept calling. And so what was cool about that is she listed her house with me, they bought a new house with me, we sold and bought. Then her mother needed to buy and sell within 60 days. So her mom needed to buy and sell, and they had a rental property that they wanted to sell, and we sold that to the existing tenant. So 5 transactions in 60 days, all because I called for 14 months.
Wow.
Then I just took her to lunch, and then we'll talk more about this on the referral piece of the class, but I just took her to lunch because I could just reach out and do like lunches with her, that's how I connect. And she was like, so you're gonna think I'm crazy. She's like, I know it's only been 2 years and we said that was our forever home, but we wanna sell it and buy a new Lennar home. And I was like, okay. She goes, and mom's gonna move in with us, so she's gonna sell her home.
Yes.
And Kyle and Chantel are having twins, so they need to sell their home and buy a home. And I was like, okay. So, $40 lunch paid for.
Yeah, for the rest of your life.
So, I mean, and we're already under contract on their new home, and I have the listing contract on her home, and then her mom's gonna wait until they move, until the house is done before she does anything. But all because I stay in touch and took her to lunch.
Yeah.
But if I would have never did that 14 months of calling, that's so far 7 contracts I wouldn't have had.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so you keep a CRM, keep digital notes, and keep calling them, and keep growing your database, which we'll talk about too. So, lead generation is our #1 job as realtors. Would anybody disagree with that? Do you know you disagree?
No, I would agree with that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Do we know why? Can somebody tell me why? Somebody?
It's huge, like,
No leads, no business.
Yes. So the purpose of lead generation is to create a constant flow of business. Lead generation is not always about now business. Sometimes it is. I mean, you can get, what I should say is you can get now business from lead generation. But more times than not, you're building your pipeline for future. And so when you're noticing shifts in the market and there's peaks and valleys, because you consistently stayed on top of your lead generation, you will likely withstand that. You won't have those peaks and valleys because you're constantly lead generating. Does that make sense? Would it be, by a show of hands, can you tell me if you're a consistent lead generator? You're becoming one. So tell me about your lead generation practices today,
Like,
as of what you do right now.
okay, so I try to spend like at least 1 to 5 hours, depending on the day, lead generating and doing
Okay.
something that's going to get people looking at me or talking to me or
Okay.
whatever. I read a book recently where the mentality of it was you never meet people for today, you always meet people for the future.
Yes.
So going into it too with that attitude, just how can we help each other going forward? But yeah, I've realized massively through my ups and downs that like that is the core of my day. I absolutely need to time block that, get that done like all day long.
Yes.
All the time.
But it stinks that you had to learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
Usually.
But it's nice that you did learn that lesson, right?
Yeah, well it sticks more, it means more now that I didn't learn it that way.
Do you have a weekly lead generation goal? based on number of hours you'll do? I know you said between 1 and 5 hours a day, but do you have a
Yeah.
weekly goal?
I have like, numbers that I have to hit, so my, weekly, calls I have to make is 60. If I do a video, I have to get at least 250 views on it. I have to enter, 10 a day into my database, those
Good.
kinds of numbers, like
Good.
on weekly.
That's good,
Yeah.
very good. That's a plan,
Yeah,
and you have it written down,
yeah,
which is, it's not a plan if it's not written.
yeah.
Bold, yes.
Yes.
Anybody else have a lead generation strategy that they are currently working?
In addition to that, doing open houses at least 2 times a week.
2 times a week? For how many hours?
Typically 4 on Friday and 7 on Saturday.
Okay. So with lead generation, in your book, it's on page 15 in mine, I'm not sure, but it has this funnel. And so the top of the funnel is leads. That's your biggest pool, because that's where the most people lie, they're all leads. And everybody differentiates leads. Anybody is a lead. You can take the white pages and I don't even know if they still publish that, but you can take your HOA list, how about that, your neighborhood list, and let's say there's 200 people in your neighborhood or 200 phone numbers, those are all leads, right? A lot of people would probably differ because they haven't inquired, but those are leads, right? The goal is to turn those leads, those contacts, into appointments. So how do you get appointments from leads? You gotta call them, you gotta read them, you gotta knock on their door, you gotta get into a relationship with them. Appointments into agreements, and then meaning an agreement to work with you, and then agreements into contracts. So if they agree to work with you, eventually they'll either buy or sell, and then eventually that turns into a paycheck. If you do it consistently. You're not gonna do it for everybody. Typically, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent statistics say out of all buyers that you meet with, meaning you meet with them as a buyer, not like, hey, I met you at the store and shook your hand, you've actually had an in-depth conversation about them buying a house. You should convert about 80% of them. That could be higher or lower depending on how many people you're talking to, how many appointments are going on, or how efficient you are. But it should be at about 80% if you're having a one-on-one meeting with them. And then on a listing, it's about 65%. And again, this is average. This is not saying you're at the top of your game. And it's not saying these are people from your database. This is just saying everybody overall. Quite frankly, strangers are usually a lot harder, I shouldn't say harder, but strangers will have a lower conversion rate than people that already know you. Does that make sense? Like if it's your mom, I think your chance is probably 100% versus 65% on the listing, we hope. Versus, a cold call, you called it for sale by owner, that conversion rate may be a little bit lower. Make sense? Did you wanna say something? Okay, I thought I saw you.
I was just
over there.
agreeing with you, that's all.
And I love when our partners stay for the classes because one, they know what you guys are learning about in Ignite, so that gives them an opportunity to be able to partner with you better and make sure that the services they offer are at the same level as what you're learning in KW and making sure that they can bring value to your business. So pay attention to our preferred partners that actually come and sit in a class, because most won't do that. Most partners in general won't do that, not just the ones here. Okay, so so you guys are using Sync. What else are you guys doing for lead generation right now? I know. You're 2 days in.
I'm like, I have no idea.
You're 1 day in. Go ahead, Michelle.
I pay for internet leads.
You pay for internet leads?
Yeah.
From where?
Inbox real estate leads.
Okay. And how is that working out for you?
I'd say about 50% actually answer, and then maybe out of that, 70% are willing to talk.
Okay.
That's really good.
They actually are, and it's not that bad. I think it's $30 a month, and I get probably one every other day. They're almost all, the site that they're catching people on is for foreclosures though, so it's people.
They want a deal.
Under $100.
But there's a lot of foreclosures right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I prospect on pre-foreclosure, and I did an update I don't call them every day, but I typically call twice-ish a week. And from Thursday to Monday, there were 93 new filings.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I know. So there's still some foreclosures out there, and I was talking to one of the title partners, and they were saying They expect to see more short sales come back into the market because of modifications from way back when they kind of,
Modifications, and they did the 10-year
Yes.
repayment, where now it was interest only for 10 years.
Yes.
Now it's only a 20-year repayment, and they had to pay principal and interest.
Mhm.
So a lot of those loans were in 07, 08,
Mhm.
10 years ago.
Yep.
And so those are resetting, and that's gonna probably cause some hardships
Yep.
for some people.
so that could be some of the foreclosure activity that you see, but pay attention. I mean, it's a good opportunity to call on those. You know, a lot of times you really have to be on top of them quick because I'm not the only agent calling them.
Do you
And
find
they're
them on
being
Zillow,
sold.
the pre-foreclosure ones? or-
No, I use RedX. So RedX sends them to me. They load it right to my calling. I use Mojo for dialing, and we use like a triple line dialer, so it calls as many people as possible. And so anyway, our assistant loads it from RedX into Mojo, and we just call it. And so we can typically see the numbers of how many foreclosures from this day to this day to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want the numbers, I can at least tell you that to show you. The problem is we don't update. Well, when I didn't have Sam, I wasn't updating every day.
Mhm.
I would update when I was about to call. So, but I did know that I updated Thursday, and then I updated again on Monday, and it was like 93 new ones, which was
Wow.
crazy to me.
In,
Like, I was
in
that
Gilbert
shocked.
and Mesa, like just
Maricopa and Pinal County.
Oh, well, that's a big area. Then 93 seems like a low number. That's
Really?
for Maricopa County. Yeah.
I mean, I guess. Well, compared to what I was seeing before, though, like
Okay.
usually I'd get like 6 updates,
Got it.
7 updates. I wouldn't get 93
Right.
over 2 days, because I mean, it's really Friday, because the Monday filing really shouldn't have been reported yet, because it was early in the morning.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was a lot to me from what I had seen.
Right. I don't think we're in the panic mode yet, but.
No. Yeah, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean like panic. I just meant that there's an opportunity there.
Right.
That's all I meant. Sorry. I didn't mean we're back in 2008.
Yeah. Everyone's foreclosing.
I know.
The sky's falling.
So can you guys think of some benefits of lead generation aside from, well, in addition to you not having peaks and valleys in your real estate business? What are some other benefits you can think of?
Relationship building.
Okay, that's a good one. And why is that important?
I think people have to trust you first, and I think Shimoni and maybe Steve was talking about the personal side of us. People want to get to know you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
before they commit to you.
Mm-hmm. How about it's inexpensive? It saves you money. As a new agent, I would say if you could not spend any money on lead generation is probably the best thing. So what that would look like, or very little money. So that what that, to me, when I was a new agent, I got my business from for sale by owners and expired listings. It's not the fun stuff, but I paid very minimal in order to do that. So I paid for my Mojo dialer, and I paid for my my RedX. But it was funny because I took Bold when I was a new agent, and so I paid for Bold. And by paying at that time, I don't know if they still do it this way, but they gave us LandVoice and something else. But anyway, they gave us the leads, and so I literally jump started just from using what I paid for in the $800 class for Bold. It's $9 now. It was $800 then. That's how you feel like you get old. When prices, when you see the prices change. So that's what I did. I paid for Bold. I went to every class. I took everything that I learned from the class and applied it to the tools that I was given. So calling all the for sale by owners, calling all the expired listings, and I would go on there and I would get it. One time, one of the for sale by owners invited 3 agents at one time and was like, go. Like made us present all together. And like one agent just walked out. I'm not doing this. I mean, another agent stayed and went for it. And so, you know, that was my first for sale by owner listing.
Wow, that's
That's old.
terrifying. Good for you.
I was happy. I was like, oh, this is fun.
Gamify it.
Well, because I'm very competitive and I don't always show it, but I'm very competitive. So in that moment, it was like, all right, game on, girl. Do you really want this? Because I'm about to get it. We can do this now. But we were both really respectful, and then we had a story to tell at Bold.
Yeah, that's the story.
And we were both professional. We were both from Keller Williams, both from Bold. So you know who was calling on them. Yeah. So it's a little tough during Bold because people were like, you guys call. but it really does work to call those leads. So anyway, that was the least expensive way for me to do that. And then open houses. So it was open houses, expired listings for sell by owners. Those were my only strategies that I stuck to. And I think in my first year I did 18 transactions just using those strategies.
Wow.
So it works. I didn't pay, and even to this, I mean, I've paid for Sync, which I really like as a tool. But if you can avoid paying for internet leads, try to avoid it. Not saying that you're getting good success rate, and I think it's really good that you have such a high contact percentage. But there's cheaper ways to do it. And one of the things I find when you cold call, even if it's not something you're comfortable with, it teaches you discipline, and it also, not saying that you're not disciplined, but it teaches you lead gen discipline, and it also helps you have conversations when you're out there and on the street. So one of the things that I learned from Bold and from doing script practice and from actually making the phone calls was when I was in this line at the grocery store and somebody looked at my name tag and they wanted to have a conversation, I could have a real conversation to the where they were like, wow, she is a professional. So you would have a neighbor like, or somebody else in the line, well, I'm a realtor too, but they really have no clue about the market and I can actually speak to it. That's what stood me apart, and it's because of my scripts. It's because of my scripts and my dialogue. So just know that with your lead generation, you can do it cheaply, you can do it over the phone, and you get better so that when you have those conversations, you already know what to say. You don't have to think of what to say. Or did I sound crazy? It just comes right out.
I have a tip for some free leads through Facebook. So, you ever done Marketplace?
Yeah.
Yes.
So many leads,
Yeah.
It does work.
You've done it?
Mostly rentals, I get on there, but
Yeah, so.
they're gonna buy a home one day.
Yeah, so for those of you that haven't used it, it's kind of like a Facebook's version of Craigslist, but it's not as cheesy, I guess. But so what you can do is find a listing. They have an ability to find inventory within KWIF.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I would check the available listings within the office. Find something that has like decent curb appeal, nothing too extravagant, something that the average everyday person could see themselves living in. That looks nice from the curb appeal.
Yeah.
Find like 2 or 3 pictures. If it's updated inside, even better. I wouldn't do any more than 3 pictures. You could list it in there. I would list it for $0. Don't put a price in there because they're going to want to ask what the price is. Don't put the address in there because they'll copy and paste it into Zillow, then they don't need you.
Yep.
So I would say great Gilbert home, great Mesa house,
Yep.
Updated Mesa, whatever you want to put. Make a brief description. Again, get the permission of the listing agent to do that. And you wouldn't believe, I did that for a buddy's listing. I think I got like 80 messages in 2 days or something like that. Several of which actually applied through our team for a loan. And they ultimately didn't want to buy that house, it was too expensive, but we're still working with them on other stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing and it's free. So,
Yep.
and not a lot of people are doing it right now. So.
What I would recommend is you at least ask for listing agent if you can use their pictures. Okay, so make sure you do that, because I seen one from an agent that wasn't even Keller Williams advertising one of our agents' listings.
Yeah, don't do that. Always get permission, especially
Most
if they're-
agents in here will tell you yes.
Yeah.
Just make sure you ask first.
Sure.
That's
Especially if
all.
they're paying a couple $100 for professional photos, it's not
Right.
right to jack those and use them,
Right.
without permission.
Jamie.
Does anybody in this room have experience with like Nextdoor? Or there's a new one called Park Bench.
I'm familiar with it, but when you say experience, explain to me.
Like I know with Nextdoor you can pay to be a sponsor for a certain neighborhood.
Mhm.
Have you done that?
No.
I think they only, cause I signed up for it, but they only allow a certain amount of people, so I had to be on a waiting list for a really long time. But yeah, I
Did you have to
suppose
pay for it?
Yeah, I think for my neighborhood, it was only like $30 or $70, but it was per month. So just depending on where you're at, I think the price differs.
Yep.
Did you get leads?
I didn't sign up yet. Yeah, my zip code's only just come up this month, so I've been on the waiting list for like months now, yeah.
And remember, there's a difference between lead generation and marketing. That's marketing. Because it's passive, it's just getting your name out there, building your brand. Lead generation is you actively going out there, asking for the business, you're having the conversations every single day. So remember that, because a lot of agents, where they make a mistake up front is they go for the marketing piece first and they forget about the lead generation piece. I'm not saying that's what you would do, but it's just something to be conscious of, or conscious. I can't even talk.
Cognizant.
Thank you, there you go, let's use that one. Just to be aware of, so that you're not spending a bunch of money and not seeing a return on it. Because rate of return is extremely important, and it's very low when you're starting to do a lot of transactions. And so you want to know exactly what your sources of leads are and what actually converts, so that you're doing the right things. So just make sure you do more lead generation than marketing, unless it's free marketing, like Facebook, like Instagram, like LinkedIn, those things. So the 4 C's of prospecting, I think it's on page 17 in my book, I don't know what it is. It has the connect, capture, close, and cultivate.
Yeah, 16 in our book.
Okay, thank you. So we're about a page behind. So capture. So what would you say is an example of capturing a lead?
Giving information.
Okay,
Like
so,
phone number, an email, or something to work with.
yeah, so it could be an open house, right? Doing an open house and somebody comes in, you have a conversation, and now you've gotten their contact information, that would be a capture. So them walking in the door wouldn't be a capture, remember that. If you can see and talk to as many people, you do wanna talk to as many people as possible, yes, but you wanna capture their contact information, cause that allows you the ability to follow up. That's what allows you to close them and build a lifelong referral person, and then you cultivate that relationship. So you're learning about them, they're learning about you, and it's not just about business, it's about the relationship. So, has anybody converted a buyer or seller from an open house? That's good. How did that feel? Yeah, it feels really good. Open houses, like literally, the people will walk in and tell you they're not thinking about buying or anything like that, but they are. That's why they came in there. Some people say they just like to look at houses, but they like to look at houses because they want to buy something. It may not be today, but it's going to be within the year. And so make sure when they say, oh, I'm just looking, or they keep pushing you, don't let that be what stops you. Like I had this guy named Joe come into my open house in Trilogy, and he was like, I already have a realtor. I just want to see it because my mother-in-law lives around the corner. He was really aggressive. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna mess with you because I'm just here to sell this house. And he was like, oh. Like it took him aback because I said that. So I was like, I'm just here to sell this house. Did you look around? He was like, okay, well, here's the deal. So he comes back. He goes, so here's the deal. I have this realtor, but I don't think he really cares about me because he doesn't really return my calls. And I want to sell my house in Cortina, and I want to buy this. This is what I'm looking for. If you can give me that, I'll work with you. I said, why do you want to work with me? You just told me you had a realtor. And he was like, well, because you gave me shit back, and I liked that. So I would have never guessed that he'd come back and say, I want to work with you, because he was just it was aggressive and just like gritty. But I also knew that just because he was that way didn't mean that for sure he wouldn't have been a lead, but I still at least needed to treat him like I would treat anybody else. I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna connect with them how they connect. Like he connected with me giving him crap back. And so, yeah, so now I have this new listing that hasn't even gone on the market yet, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna buy it. So that was a year ago, because he was very specific and had to have hit all these marks. And so, he's gonna buy a $650,000 house and sell a $500,000 house. All from an open house, and all from somebody I would have not thought I would convert, but I did. I know, it's weird. So when people are coming into your open house, I know, people are strange. So when they're coming into your open houses, just think, like, know your scripts, know what to say, and know why people are projecting. Know that just because they say they're not looking, that they really are looking. Just because they say they have a realtor does not mean they really have a realtor. Because most of the time they don't. And I always say, what's your realtor's name? Let me know them. And they're like, oh,
Deer in headlights.
Jennifer, what brokerage? I know so many Jennifer realtors. And then, you get to break those walls down. And then you listen to the conversations and you figure out where to go with them. So open houses are a good source of lead generation, but how do you have like a good story about how you guys converted your buyer or seller from the open house?
The ones that I've converted so far have actually been pretty easy, which has been great, but what I also do that I found as at least getting me somewhere with some people is, oh great, I'm so glad you're here today, I'm actually giving away a free app today, and then I share what's your number, I'll text it to you right now.
Good.
And share my KW app, and then at
Good.
least I've got their number and I can follow up and send them as soon as they walk out the door, hey, so nice to meet you, thank you so much for coming in, the follow up is immediate, and then just trying to build from there.
That's a capture. You should capture their contact information by coming from contribution, like giving away.
Wait, what did you say you're giving away a free app?
Yeah, the KW
yeah.
search app, yeah, just not, doesn't have anything, but haha, you don't know that.
But that's okay,
Yeah.
right? it's a great tool to share, especially at open houses. But that's how you capture them.
Yeah.
So, in your book, it's probably on 18 on your, I'm guessing, I'm on page 19. On connecting questions, who, what, when, where, why, can somebody read me the example for who, like getting details to add to your database?
If you would please tell me a little bit about your family job life center.
Okay. Can you think about, does that sound awkward to anyone? To ask somebody that? How would you ask that question?
I probably wouldn't be as direct about, please tell me about your family. I'd probably just ask some other questions.
Okay.
You know, do you have family nearby?
Okay. And that's okay.
Be more
Seems softer.
Or like lifestyle questions too, like
Mhm.
how would you be using certain parts of the house, you can ask them,
Yep.
or big backyard, do your kids play sports, have a
Yep.
dog, blah, blah, blah.
That's good. And it gets you thinking. Like you're trying to figure out who do we need to make this house who do we need to accommodate in this home. So you get an understanding of, okay, is it just you? Is the decision maker really your husband? Is the decision maker your mom because you're moving in with her technically and she has the purse strings? Like who's the person that's making the decisions and what do we need to accommodate? So that's the who. So you don't have to ask it so direct. I'd be like, so who's in your family? Who's gonna move in here? But that's just my personality. I would ask anything that way. I don't care. So, what about the what? Can we get somebody to read the what?
What are you looking for? What do you want to do?
Yeah. So a better way of asking that would be, tell me what you want to accomplish. Right? Or tell me what you're looking for in a home. Does this home fit your needs? Tell me what you don't like about it. Show me. What don't you like about your current home? What would you change about your home since it's perfect? Those would be the questions that you would ask, right? Hi.
Hi, sorry.
It's okay. Find a seat anywhere. We're on page 18 in the book.
Okay.
Okay, can somebody read me the where?
Where would you like to buy?
Mm-hmm.
Where is your home located?
Okay. That's one you kind of have to be direct about, right?
And I don't have a problem with being direct like that. I just didn't kind of mark soft sell.
No, I gotcha. Yeah. No, I get. You're right. Where I find that the more direct questions come in at is when you're calling a for sale by owner or an expired listing, because you really do need to get to their motivation right away. You need to understand. Okay, I noticed your house is on the market now, and it came off the market unsuccessfully. So tell me, if your home had sold, where would you have moved to? So you tie that emotion back to what they really wanted to do in the first place. Oh, well, I really wanted to move over to Agritopia, and the house that I wanted is now no longer available, and I'm so bummed out about that. Well, if we can get that house for you, what would you be willing to do to do that? Like, can you rent your house out? You know, explore opportunities with them. Just say, did your agent explore this when it was on the market? Did they explore that? Did you get weekly updates? Did you do this? No. Well, you know what? It sounds like maybe you were paired with an agent that didn't have the tools that we have. So here's some things that we have to offer. When can I sit down and meet with you for just 15 minutes just to go over what my team does differently so that we can actually get your house sold? And then they say, oh, today or tomorrow, whatever it is. So that's the why. So that's when you have to be a little bit more direct when you're calling certain types of leads, because they're going to be slightly hostile. This is the truth. But they don't stay that way. So when? Why is when important?
Because you won't be showing them houses if they're a year out,
Yes.
it's not gonna be available.
Yes. It's funny, all of my clients that tell me a year are a month. Like, I just closed a deal yesterday. I closed the deal yesterday, and she was like, we're probably not gonna wanna move until March because our lease is through March. And then when I started sending her, I'm like, well, that's good. Well, now you can learn the neighborhood. I'll get you set up on a search. And she was like, so we decided we could break our lease. It's not a big deal. We'll pay out of it. You will? Yeah, we just sold our house for $10,000 above. We just pay it. Their house is in Idaho. Well, yeah, we'll just do that because we really don't want to be in this apartment, and we really love this one house. I showed them 2 houses, wrote a contract. We just closed yesterday off of Facebook.
Nice.
A Facebook video I did, which my video sucked, but
they don't suck that bad.
but it doesn't matter because somebody saw it and somebody hired me.
Yes.
That's all that matters. Huh?
They're real.
This is all I got for you guys. I don't have time for anything else.
You always twirl in your videos.
Do I always twirl?
Yes. Unless it's on a stand, but you're always twirling.
I never.
Motion creates emotion, right?
I probably do it because I really am like, I gotta do a video. And I just get it out of the way. Like usually when I'm doing a video, it's like, oh guys, I didn't do a video today. And I do it real quick and I move on. Like I don't do 5 takes. I do 1 take and I'm done. 1 take, Tia. Get it over, get it over with, get it done, get it out there. Because what I found when I used to do that is I would critique it. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this wasn't perfect. Oh my gosh, my face looks big. Oh my gosh, am I cross-eyed? Oh my god. Like, and it's just like, who cares about any of that? So I posted one yesterday and I was with Tony for my podcast. And I was like, oh my gosh, the way that I'm looking, my eyes look crossed. I said, but whatever, it's there. It's there now. Somebody will watch it because they're like, is there They will.
I think people will pick out if you try to do it too perfect.
Yeah,
They
I
might-
agree.
They might not even like that. It's like, they like the more normal, natural.
I know, and I just got a lead yesterday. Somebody was like, "Oh yeah, my friend Kenny, he was actually commenting on one of your posts. I saw your video, and I was like, wow, I do want to buy a house. Maybe I should reach out to her." And he was like, so I sent him an inbox, and he said you're great, and so that's why I'm calling you. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's working.
Yeah.
So I've only been doing videos for 90 days for lead gen, or really it's just database, stay in touch with them, and to not be so real estate-y, if that makes sense. And so in 90 days to 2 appointments. Not bad. Not bad. So you just gotta do them. I don't love social media because I'm like, oh, now I gotta reply to comments. It's like, so like most people don't want to get on the phone. I don't want to have to open my social because I feel like you spend so much time there now.
Sucks you in.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, now I've seen somebody's dog just died. Now I'm sad. You know, you go through all these emotions. Right? Am I wrong? Like you go through all these emotions from it. So it's like,
Terrible.
I know. So anyway, all right. So let's talk about closing. Closing for an appointment. How many people go to script practice? I do. You do, because you're in bold. Nobody else? So we have script practice downstairs here at the Mesa office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe. At the GBC, script practice is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, except it's kind of canceled for Tuesday during bold right now. So Wednesday, Thursday, and that's run by, the GBC one is run by Brandon, the Mesa one is run by Danette. My team goes to the GBC script practice with Brandon. It's helpful. It's so helpful if you go to script practice and you do it regularly. You guys are on a team, so I know you guys are here. You could probably do it with your team. It's so effective. If you don't go to script practice, I highly encourage you to start going. Even if you feel like, okay, I'm not going to be on the phone, or I'm not. It's going to help you have everyday conversation. It's not just about phone calls. It's about your open houses. It's about when you're sitting down with an appointment for a buyer. It helps you know what to say before you have to even think about it. They said something, it triggered it because you've been practicing so much. You know exactly what to say, so you don't have to say or I'm not sure. Let me get back to you. You can give an answer, and so that is going to automatically create a feeling of confidence in the person that you're communicating with. So when we're talking to people, it's closing for an appointment. So a hard close, I'm going to have everybody read one. We'll start with you, Paula. Read the first one. What would be a hard close? Number 1.
Let's meet.
Let's meet. That's a hard close. Would you ever say that?
Occasionally.
Good. Let's get a meeting. Okay, good.
So when can we meet?
Good. Alicia, read number 2. Which is the soft close?
I have really enjoyed visiting with you. When would you like to get together to discuss the further?
Okay. Nice. Now, believe it or not, I feel like that's a harder close than the hard close.
too.
But
I agree.
maybe because I don't speak that way. But anyway, direct close. This is perfect for you, Mallory.
Can we meet today or would tomorrow be better?
That's very direct. So it's like,
Yeah, you give them options, but you're still
Yes.
asking for it.
that's my favorite one. Paige, can you read number 4?
Yeah.
Indirect close.
Would it be okay if I got you some information to look over and then we can meet to discuss?
Okay. So indirect. Would you ever speak that way?
Versus like, you know, saying I found something on MLS, I just shoot it over to them, not
Yeah.
asking them.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
I mean, I guess you could.
There you go. I always find this, I don't know when I started this, but when I'm reading through emails, when I'm responding to a lead, if I haven't gotten them on the phone yet, I always look to see, am I being passive or indirect or direct?
Sure.
And I always will switch my email to make sure I'm direct. Because indirect gives them the option to say no. You're
Put it
giving them
off, I'll
out.
do it later,
Yeah.
human nature takes over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you emailed me. When can I call you? What time do you get off work? When's the best time I can get you on the phone? Or do you wanna come to my office on Saturday? That's what I did with the Facebook guy.
Yeah.
So we're meeting tomorrow. Okay, so let's go to 5, the trial close. Carly.
I think you would agree that we've gone over enough today. That meeting would be our next step.
Okay. Would you ever say that?
No. But I would use the phrase like next steps, or let's talk about like next steps, or da-da-da. Like
Yeah.
something just a little bit more casual, but
Yeah.
I would totally use next step.
Yeah, so it sounds like we have all the information we need in regards to what you want, when you wanna do it. The next step is for us to set up a meeting in our office. Are you available today or tomorrow?
Yeah.
Got 2 closes in there. They're gonna be like, dang it, she got me. That's the kind of salesperson I want to sell my house, cause she knows what she's doing. Cause I could go back to open houses a little bit, I always tell people, when people are not in there, when they say they're not in there to buy a house, if that's true, they're in there to interview you.
Sure.
Cause they have a house to sell somewhere, and they wanna see who's the aggressive agents out there out of the 10 open houses that they go to. So any open house listing that I've ever converted, they've always said they hired me because it seemed like I wanted to sell the house. And they were like, yeah, the other agents were just kind of sitting there, they didn't tell us anything, they just didn't seem like they wanted to sell. So that's the feedback I've ever gotten from any open house, and I probably have converted, like in the last year, maybe 10 from listing open houses.
When we're through with that, will you share your script you use?
For open houses?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. Sarah.
It sounds like we should meet. I'm available most times this week, so what works best for you?
Would you say that?
I think I'd be more like, oh, we should totally meet. I'm available at least in this time. What would work
Perfect.
That's what I would say.
That's way better. If you say I'm available most times, it seems like you're not busy. You're like, why do I want to meet with you? Nobody else does.
Tomorrow morning or the next day after,
Yeah.
you know, works better.
Yeah. I always say this. What's better for you? Evenings, weekends, or days, evenings, or weekends? And just to get an idea, if they say weekends and I'm going for, okay, good, I have a Saturday availability at 10. Oh, evenings, I have an evening availability on Thursday. The reason I like that is because it allows you still to keep control of your schedule. So for example, if you know you only work late evenings on Thursdays, then that's when you would schedule them for. You wouldn't have to schedule them for Tuesday and then be all tired the rest of the week because you work till 9:30. So it gives you that control over your schedule too.
On that too is like a new agent, I find that we have business and we immediately jump, and then our whole day is thrown off. I've literally like jumped and then like run upstairs, got ready, got changed, okay, great, and I'm waiting for a response. When are we meeting? We're meeting in 20 minutes, right? And then they just like don't reply or whatever. Now I'm like, well, I could have been in my pajamas. But like, you know, but if you like set that precedence, like, no, I do have a life and I am doing something or whatever, and like let me schedule you in, you're very important.
Yes.
Because then your whole life doesn't like
Yes.
just get disrupted all the time.
Yes, that is very true.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, like an hour I'm waiting for you to reply, how many calls could I have made or whatever, right, yeah.
My idea to that, so I used to think that way, but then I said, okay, maybe I should just get up and get dressed first thing anyway.
That's a good point. Casual wear,
There you go, gotcha. You're like, at leisure.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, what it did for me, cause I would work from home a lot before I started opening the team, or building the team, and I've always been like, get on the phone, do my stuff, you know, but I find that when I get up and I'm ready for an appointment, I set the expectation out there that I'm gonna get an appointment. And so I don't ever want a day to go by that I don't have one. So I'm gonna get dressed as if I'm gonna have an appointment that afternoon. And I don't wanna have to disrupt my whole day because I didn't get ready first thing.
She does that every day.
Vacuum my house, I get all that stuff.
It's a good habit. It's a good habit to form. But then some people are way more comfortable working in pajamas, period. Like my friend Gina, she's like, I gotta wear my yoga pants, and that's just that. I'm like, okay, Gina, where you going? I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But yeah, she's like, I'm wearing my yoga pants, and that is that. Okay, so number 7, Corey.
The negative, positive close. Would you be offended if I asked if we could meet to go over this?
Okay. Can you think of a situation when you would use that? Anybody?
That's a weird one. Would you say that?
Maybe like for sale by owner.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know why they would be offended.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't wanna put the word offend in their brain, like bringing that into a conversation just kinda sets you up, now they're thinking of how,
Yeah.
like, how it's offensive.
I was like constantly like only Facebook messaging you or only texting you or you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you can't get them to actually truly engage with you,
Yeah.
I could maybe see using that
Yeah.
approach. But
The word offended is.
Or I'm gonna be stepping away from the computer if you're not texting me.
I think you would only use that if it was the foot fetish guy. I probably wouldn't use, I can't think of a situation where I would use that. I'm not saying there's no place that is appropriate for that. I wouldn't use that.
Would you be offended if I sold your house?
The foot fetish guy asked you that.
Here, actually, you know what? Here's an example. Let's say somebody said, I don't like realtors, I can't stand realtors, I do need to buy a house, but I don't wanna use you people. You know what? I'm sorry to hear that. Would you be offended if I asked to meet with you so that I can help you understand that not all realtors are created equal?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Would you be offended if the seller pays my fee for you?
Yeah, there you go.
No, okay, cool,
Yeah.
we're good then.
Okay,
That's one example.
that's a good one.
That's the only one I can think of. Sometimes I'm quick, sometimes I'm slow. Not always. Okay, number 8 for Jamie.
Okay, I really enjoyed visiting with you, to be honest, I'm not sure if I can be of help or not, but I would be honored if we could meet to find out.
Okay. This could be somebody that has a really weird situation. Like I have a guy who wants to sell his house, but there's an encroachment issue with the other house. And it's like, and he's like, well, I heard you're the best, I know you can do it. And I'm like, you know what, I am the best, they were right. No, I really did say that. Like, I am the best, you're right, and believe it or not, let's go and look at it, let me look at it and so I can see what we need to do to work with that. So there could be situations that work that way. Number 9, Jamie, other Jamie.
Wouldn't it make sense for us to meet in the next day or so?
Yeah. Can you think of a time you would use that?
When they wanna sell within like a month.
Yeah, there you go. That's neat. Alternative choice close. Michelle.
What works better for you, meeting today, sometime this afternoon, or tomorrow morning?
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Let's get it done. Okay, so cultivating the relationship. So we talked about CRM. So some people are using a CRM, some people are going to transition into eEdge, some people aren't using anything yet. So you do, in order to cultivate a lead, you do have to use a CRM. You have to. There are so many out there. There's eEdge, that's the one that's included in your monthly fees with Keller Williams. Okay, it's a good tool. Within eEdge, you can set up campaigns. So it'll send them emails every month. It'll create tasks for you to complete depending on what the campaign is you're using. So it can be an 8x8 campaign for a person that you just met and you don't really have an appointment with them yet, or you've never met them face to face or have a meeting with them. You can do a 33 touch where it's 33 touches throughout the year. This is somebody that you have met, maybe you've even sat, or they know you, maybe you've even done a consultation with them, but they're not ready, whatever the case might be. It's just a way for you to stay in touch with them. So you definitely want to have a platform so that you can see what is being sent out to them. Are they opening it? Are they responding to it? How many times are they opening it? What else? What your last conversation was. Like I said, that lady Karen that I stayed in touch with for 14 months, every conversation I noted, okay, Karen's having shoulder surgery on this day. Make sure you send Karen a thank you note on this day because she'll be getting home from the hospital. She'll get it. Send her send her a heating pad. That's what I did. I sent her a heating pad. Like just going through what you've done so that you know exactly what you did for that particular lead. The part that stinks is sometimes when you transfer to a new CRM and all those notes don't go in. They go, but their format can be different, so you're like, I don't want to leave them. That's the worst part. But anyway, so if you do move, just make sure you get your notes too. So if you don't do anything, get a CRM. Even if you just use the Edge, it's better than nothing. Questions on CRMs? No? Not one? And add them on Facebook. Add them on there. Get them on Facebook because you're just gonna interact with them way more, and it helps you learn about their kids. They have a kid that has a birthday coming up. Somebody is getting married. And so that's just another thank you card you can send them, or when you have when you call them just to check in, just say, oh my gosh, I saw on Facebook that you guys just came back from Belize. How was your vacation? I really want to go there. Did you guys stay in Airbnb? Did you go to a hotel? What did you do there? You know, it's just building the conversation. So we're gonna watch a video after I take it off of mute.
On your Mets, your sphere of influence. Lead generation is your #1 job. You have started by calling your Mets your sphere of influence. You have even reached out via social media. But what do you do when you run out of contacts? Where can you find more leads? There are many places you can find additional prospecting opportunities. Think about your children's sporting events or activities. And don't forget about your own organizations and clubs. Your children's school or PTA would be an excellent source for contacts, as well as your place of worship. Even your mechanic. They rely on referrals for their business just like you do. Using these and other sources for prospecting opportunities will lead to more contacts and referrals that will grow your business. More contacts and referrals will lead to more appointments, listings, and closings. This will help you meet and exceed your goals.
So do you guys all capitalize on, like, if you have children or if you do professional sports or anything like that, or not professional, adult sports. Do you guys think of those as good lead sources? So I play on this kickball team. It's a pro kickball team. We play on a pro kickball team that everybody is in, like, most of the people on my team all work together except for like 4 of us, and they all work for like Merrill Lynch or Charles Schwab, so that's their industry. That's a great referral source. I had to teach them finally how to send me referrals because kickball, there's a lot of drinking involved in that. So you gotta get everybody off the kickball field before they start drinking in order to have those conversations, but you have to teach them how to refer to you. So if you play on like in a softball league, or if you have children and they're in like soccer or dance or whatever they may do, just make sure that while you're there and it's an environment that you're gonna be in anyway, that you try to figure out how to create those referral resources out of those contacts. Maybe you like to play tennis. Maybe you like to golf. Brian loves to golf. Maybe you like to golf. Those people that you're coming in contact with, you're gonna figure out how you can cultivate those relationships. Like, you get a lot of leads from golf?
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Yeah, usually what we'll do is I'll invite one of my realtor partners, and then he'll invite either 2 clients or 2 past clients or whatever, and everyone has fun. And
there you go.
You know, if you can't lock them down on the golf course, you're never going to be able to lock them down.
Yeah.
For me, so it's definitely worth
Colby
it.
would get along. We just closed out a client who works for a high-end golf company. What's the company? PXG.
Nice.
So make sure you're thinking outside the box when you're thinking of lead referrals and lead sources and who you can call. Because a lot of times people will have these lists of people that belong to their groups or organizations. Even if you're like the HOA president or the HOA treasurer or whatever you are, you have this whole list of people you can call and say, hey, just wanted to let you know, I'm not calling you about that fine you owe, because you didn't get your weeds out of the yard. I'm just calling to let you know I'm in real estate. Nobody knows about the neighborhood more than I do. And if you do find yourself in a need to buy or sell, what can I do during your business? If you do, the wording on that was all wrong, but you got what I meant. So think about that for the organizations. Hey, I'm not calling you about softball. I'm giving you a call because I just moved into real estate. I made this move. I finally passed my test, as you noticed on social media, and I want to know you know, my team says I have to do 10 sales in the next 3 months. Do you know anybody that you can refer to me so I can get those 10? That's not your goal, but. Or maybe. So yeah, so when you tell people you have a goal and you tell them what you're looking for and you need their help, they want to help you. Normally people just automatically want to help you, and so they're going to start thinking outside the box, and when they think and then when you send in your thank you note, or if you send them a Starbucks card or whatever you send, it's gonna create that feel good buzz. Like this girl, Christy, that I know, I used to work with her when I worked in banking. I worked in banking for like 13 years, something like that. She loves Starbucks. Like she can't, I don't think there's a day that goes by on Facebook that she doesn't talk about sunny days and Starbucks. And so if I ever see like a sunny card with a smile on her face, I send it to Christy. If she ever sends me a referral, I send her a Starbucks gift card right through the app, and she gets right on her phone, and she's just like so happy, and she always takes a screenshot about it. This guy named Travis, I send fairy tale brownies. So every time he sends me a referral, I send him fairy tale brownies in his thank you card, and he always talks about it. Remember we did that live? So he always talks about, oh yeah, he's like, T, I sent you that referral, do I get brownies now? Like, they start to look forward to it, and they do it because they know what's gonna happen, and it's just like exciting for them. It's $5 it cost me to send up brownies.
It's totally worth it.
Totally worth
Training
it.
the right behavior.
Yeah, so make sure you're thinking about that. Huh?
Who? The guy who trained the dog by ringing the bells.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Oh yeah, Pavlovian dogs, yeah.
Oh, I never heard of that. Maybe I did.
It's
Maybe I just don't remember.
Freud, right?
I don't know.
College psych course.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't worry about it.
They start ringing the bells, the dogs start salivating, eating without the food.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. But
Well, it's training them
to do. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
consistent behavior.
Think about your sphere. So on the video, they mentioned your mechanic. They mentioned your dentist. I tell people the story about my orthodontist. I was like, Dr. Doy, this is before he moved to Austin. You always ask me about real estate, but you never told me about who you're gonna refer to me. And he's like, what? And I was like, I need your business, just like I'm coming. Who do you think is gonna pay for, because I had braces as an adult. I said, who do you think is gonna pay for these braces? I can't pay for these braces if I don't have any business. So.
Yeah, but you already got my business.
So what can we do? Yeah. So what can we do so that I can keep affording these adjustments?
Oh my
And he
God.
laughed at me. He was like, wow. He was like, you're right. He was like, you're right. So anyway, he ended up moving to Austin because he took a gig at Baylor. And anyway, he lives in this house with me. So Austin. But you don't ask, they don't think about it, right? And so if you're doing business with them, I feel like they should do business, try to help you with your business too. And at least have that in the back of their mind. So think about those relationships, and if they can't, then I guess we gotta find another dentist. Right? I mean, I like my dentist, but if I have another dentist that says, Tia, this is what I'm looking to do at my practice, you live right here in Chandler, I'm here in Chandler, when your clients come, when you have new people moving, can you refer to me? And I say yes, can you also send me real estate business? And they say yes. Why is that a lose? Why is that not a win? So why wouldn't I want him to go and work on my teeth?
Yeah.
You know? I told my cousin this too. She's a dentist. I was like, I don't know how many realtors you have in your chair, but tell them you already have one. Okay, so your sphere of influence. So what you need to do is write down everybody that you would consider in your sphere. So for example, teachers, immediate family, your friends, your relatives, past coworkers, your banker, insurance professional, financial advisor, your attorney, mortgage, title, appraiser, all those people, any of these professional services, make a list. Even real estate agents. I know this sounds crazy, but you should add the real estate agents to your sphere of influence as well, because one, they may not be a realtor in a year and they may refer you a deal when they get out. Or they may decide to go into a different career field for whatever reason. But they may refer you. But two, you may have a listing that they have a buyer for and they can sell it for you. So that's the other reason. You don't forget to cultivate the realtor relationships as well, because those relationships are valuable too. But keep track of all of your, whoever is considered in your sphere, and look and say, okay, this is an area I want to grow in. Maybe you want to grow your professional contacts. Maybe you need to get into a relationship with an electrician. Maybe you need to get in a relationship with a plumber. Maybe you need a drywall person. Maybe you need a carpet person, maybe you need somebody that will get paid out of escrow for painting. You know, think outside the box with all those, and then think about how you can build that relationship and have it a win-win for both people. Like I had a handyman, and I was like, hey, Matt, I sent you a lot of business, and I like your work. I said, but I wanna see what can we do so that you can, if anybody mentions that they wanna sell their home or buy a home, that you send them to me. And he was like, my wife is a realtor with Realty One, I'm gonna refer to her. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, gotta find a new handyman. And he was like, are you serious? I said, yeah. I said, I'm dead serious. I said, I appreciate all your work, I really do. However, I wanna make sure that the people I'm supporting their business, I wanna make sure they're supporting mine. I said, I definitely wish you and your wife the best. And I said, I'm sure your business will continue to do great, but I gotta find a new handyman. And I did, found 2. So.
Did you interview them?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't ask the question, is your wife a realtor?
No, I just asked them what they were willing to do. I didn't say it's a realtor, but yeah, sit down with them, talk to them, find out what they do, how they will communicate to your customers, because you want to make sure that they're an extension of you. So you want to make sure that, and I'm sure Shivani went over this the other day, but you want to make sure that the same level of service that you are expecting, that they're going to deliver that to your clients. And when you follow up with your clients, they're going to be so happy with them. They're going to want to send you more referral business because they know how great of a professional you are that knows other professionals. Right? Okay, so anybody have questions on building their sphere of influence list? So remember I said if you don't do anything else today, then just do one thing, at least one thing out of the class. I would do this one thing. I would make your list of who your sphere is. Because more than likely your first deal is within that sphere. Or if you're not a new agent, you probably have a deal within there somewhere that you can get. Questions? Anybody have doubt, like the sphere they can't tap into? Because I had one like that. Like when I got into real estate, everybody that I knew was all over the country because I managed the US and Puerto Rico, and I had like one person in Arizona. So none of my relationships were Arizona.
That's
yeah. And so that was the reason why I relied so heavily on cold calling. Was because I was like, okay, I have like this little small circle. They're not giving me anything. Let me go squeeze something else. But they're dry over here. Let me go squeeze this tree. So that's why I did that. So if for some reason anybody is in that situation, let me know. I'd be happy to brainstorm some ideas with you one-on-one.
But even with that, you could do referrals, right, in their area?
Yeah, you can. I think it's a great idea, but I'm not gonna spend all of my time hoping to get a referral. I wanna do a deal. That's why I got into real estate. So that was I'm not saying don't, but that was my perspective on it.
I feel like I kind of have that situation. Like I go back and forth because I was in the mortgage industry. So all my contacts that I worked for a year to build were agents. And then all the other partners were mortgage partners and the title partners. And therefore they already have their agents that they personally would refer something to.
Yeah.
And then I'm also from the East Coast. So I've been here 2 years, but outside of that, I mean, it's just knowing my fiance's family and trying to tap into that. But it does seem like sometimes I do struggle with because when I tried to start my own networking groups, those were me inviting agents. Now we're competition.
Got it. Okay.
I'm just saying, yeah.
If you want me some advice, I don't know, but I'm happy to talk to you offline. Cause I get that totally. But I'm full of ideas.
Yes, I can tell. I like you're creative. But
I don't have time to execute all of them. I don't. You know, but you like, I have 1 million ideas today. Who can do them? Nobody. I'm sleepy. Okay, so time blocking. Anybody familiar with time blocking? Yes. Yeah? So time blocking is my friend. My very, very best friend. Mallory is the time blocking. She's way more time blocker-ish than I am. So the benefit of time blocking and the purpose of time blocking is to make sure that you honor your time commitments, right? So it kind of goes back to when somebody says, oh, well, I want an appointment today. Well, you may not have today, but you may have Thursday night. If you have it set in your schedule, the way that I like to block out my calendar is I'll say, okay, I'm willing to take evening appointments on this day. So if somebody says, hey, let me backtrack. Certain markets require you to be flexible in certain situations. Like I have these clients that have purchased like 8 properties from me in like 3 years or 2 years, something like that. They call me, I'm gonna go show them the house, right? I don't care what I'm doing, well, unless it's family. But, so there is, you can use discretion at your own will. But typically what I'll do is I'll set up my calendar how I want the week to look. So if I know that I have a long day on Thursdays, I don't want to be scheduling things for late in the day on Wednesday. Because I know I'm already gonna I need all of my energy resources for Thursday just to get through the day. So I know where I kind of need to have a stop, so I wanna set my day up that way. So if my team is scheduling me for appointments, they know not to schedule anything past like 4. Because I need to have my head in the game for the next day. Or, Sundays, I don't like to work on Sundays. I prefer for that to be my day off. So they're not gonna schedule an appointment for me on Sundays. But then I just randomly schedule an open house on Sunday. But
Always be closing.
But it's one day, it's the first Sunday, the open house that I've done all year. So it's like, it's not a big deal. And for whatever reason, this listing has been a gold mine. So let me see what I can get on Sunday. So it's like sometimes you just have to, you see something and you go with it.
Is it your own listing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the one on Green in Maricopa, if anybody wants to set it. So you just make sure you time block, and the best way to do that is to do that like Friday, so today, set up what you want your week for next week to look like. Okay? So, if you're gonna be doing, like, for example, if you're gonna be does anybody circle prospect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Anybody else? Circle prospect? Do we know what circle prospecting is? Yeah, okay, just making sure. So like, for example,
She said no.
Mallory?
No, I did.
Oh, okay, so circle prospecting is when you're pretty much calling an area. So let's say you have a listing in Val Vista Lakes and you wanna call all the neighbors in Val Vista Lakes to try to generate some more business around that listing. So you can call that neighborhood and just say, hey, just wanted to let you know we just sold a house, we have a house listed for sale in the neighborhood. Wanna know if you know anybody that's thinking about buying in the area. Yeah, and so you're just usually if there's one listing that goes up within 30 days, another listing goes up for sale with really close to that home. So that's one of the benefits of circle prospecting. Even if you didn't sell it, somebody did. So just say, hey, there's houses just sold in the neighborhood. We usually notice that when that happens, another house, would that happen to be you? So that's it. You can also do it geographically, like let's say you just wanted to pick a zip code and that's who you were focused on. Or let's say you were focused on non-owner occupied properties and that's what you're focused on. So it's just prospecting in a very specific manner.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for telling me you didn't know. Prep call, so let's say you're gonna do circle prospecting and you need to prep your call list. So if you wanna be on the phone by 9, let's say you're dialing from 9 to 11, well you really need to be in by 8:30 to get your list done. But you really probably need to be here by 8 because you should be at script practice at 9 anyway. Right? So if you're script practicing, you're doing your call list should be done before you do script practice, before you're on the phone, so that you're not preparing into your lead generation session. Does that make sense? So 2 hours of lead gen does not mean 30 minutes of lead prep. Okay, so time block your schedule that way, practice scripts, that's your action, then prospect, then update your database. So my favorite thing about prospecting is when they're like, yes, we want a CMA, lovely. Let's go ahead and update them in the database, let's get them on a drip, let me go meet them in person by delivering their CMA to them. Because if I meet them in person, I'm more likely to get a listing when they are ready to truly list their house. Know that. So even if you can yes, email is easy, but if you can deliver it in person, it's gonna set you apart from every single agent that ever calls them or knocks on their door. Make sense? Like I did with Karen, right? So 7 deals in, Karen is a gold mine. She's probably gonna get a real estate license soon. That's how it works. Like I have these 2 clients, like I said, we've done 7 transactions in 3 years. We're looking for a house right now for them, another one, and they're gonna sell. So that'll be 8 and 9.
Wow.
And she was like, so what do I have to do to get my real estate license? I was like,
Don't do it, it's so hard.
You'll fail the test.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Her husband goes, no, I wasn't scared. She's fast. I told her husband goes, well, now you want your real estate license. Please start moving. Now you want a real estate license. And she was like, well, you mentioned it. He goes, 10 years ago I mentioned you getting your license. And she goes, well, we would have met Tia. And I was like, exactly. So why don't you go get your license now? Then you won't be seeing me every 1.5 years when you want to buy another. So update update the database, track the results, meaning you know exactly, did you get a contact? Did you get an appointment? Did you add it to the database? Make sure you have a mechanism where you can track it. So if you're using a CRM, that's where you track it. Do you guys do anything with agent partners as far as CRMs or anything like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 2 different CRMs. Each one has like their own benefits, but we have one called Surefire, and it's we can co-brand with agents. We can do a website for the agent for an open house or for a new listing. We can do property flyers with financing info on there.
Nice.
It's really easy. We type in agent name, MLS number, hit a button, and it's done.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Surefire.
The other one's more for us. It's a little bit better for like mass mailing and stuff.
Got it.
Email mailing, because it's tied with our loan origination software through Ellie Mae. So we use that more for clients and retention type stuff, and then we use the other one for more lead gen and realtor partner.
Okay. I know that, so Keller Williams Command, has anybody been using that? So Keller Williams Command, if you sign into KW Connect, and you have to be signed up for labs, because they roll out different versions of it all the time. But if you have access to Command, that tool, it changes all the time, and it's growing it's good. So they're connecting the CRM, and it tells you if they have a social media profile. It tells them the goal is for it to tell you, okay, they just had a birthday. So you can either choose to mail them a birthday card, or you can send them an email, or you can call them, whichever one you want to do, but it's set up to tell you what's exactly happening with this person that's in your sphere. It's in your Facebook feed. So it's talking to all those sources. So it's constantly updating, because they're, like I said, it's still in the lab phase, but you can use it. You should look into it, because you probably can get on there.
Just Keller Williams Command.
Okay.
So it's called Command.
KW Command, yeah. Yep. Have you guys used it yet? No? Okay, so make sure you're scheduling your commitments, keep your commitments. Don't cancel on people. Or yourself. So true. Like I'm glad you said that. 'Cause one of the biggest things I tend to do is cancel on the gym.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
It's so easy to do. It's like,
yes.
I worked so hard today. The house looks so nice.
Well, that's why I wake up at 4:30, is because usually Fabi and I will go to the gym at 5, but we have not been going lately, so we need to get
It's
on.
too cold out in the morning now.
We need to do that, but no, it's perfect. This is
It's
perfect.
nice, I know.
Before, what I would do is I would get a quick run, like a really short jog in before we would go to the gym. But now, because of all the sex trafficking stuff, I'm scared to go out there because it's so early. So I'm just being honest. I'm scared I'm gonna get snatched. I don't know. I might be too old, but either way, I'm gonna be cautious about it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy out there. All right. So we talked about prepping your call list, who you're gonna call. So one thing I like to do is when I'm setting up my week, I say, okay, Monday I'm calling FSBOs, because they probably had a rough weekend of everybody coming through their house and nobody buying it. Monday's the perfect time to call them. Tuesdays, I'm gonna call my sphere of influence. How was your weekend? What you guys do? Did you notice that, Tracy got engaged? Did you notice, whatever the case may be, have a conversation with them. No, they know that I'm calling about work. They know that I'm gonna be asking them for a referral by the end of that phone call, because they expect it. But they're probably gonna walk away with something too. Oh, did you know that in your neighborhood, so-and-so's home sold for $20,000 above list price? Or whatever. And they're like, no, I didn't even know that. I'm like, yeah, because you haven't been looking at your home bot. Update your, open your email. So I can say that to my friends, right? Or if it's, and my past client, like we become friends. If they're my past clients, they're my buddies at this point. I'm still professional, but I'm gonna talk to them like they hear. Because we all hear the same thing, but we all hear the same message, but we interpret it differently based on how we learn, based on how we process. And so that I do that same thing for my clients. Like if they like to talk really quick, I'm gonna talk really quick. And they like to talk really slow. And soft apparently, because I brought my volume all the way down.
Low talker.
But that happens, so you have to be cognizant of that and know that that's how you're gonna continue to connect with them every time you call. Like, oh my gosh, I just love her. She makes me feel like I'm the only client she's ever had. Like, people tell me that, and I'm like, nope, you're not. But I'm glad you feel that way, because that's how I want you to feel when we're together. When we're having a conversation, I want you to feel like you're the only person that's important at that time. When we're going to look at a house, I want you to feel like you're the only person. My phone is nowhere to be found. I'm not looking at my text. I'm not looking at my Facebook. I'm engaged with them and only them. remember that, cause that's big. Does anybody do say affirmations in the morning? Yeah? I think they're really important. So, I didn't used to until I went to Bold. And Bold, I would read them, but I wouldn't read them with like that, oh, I'm a great salesperson. Because you guys do that, right? Well, we had to do that every morning at Bold, and we had to do it in the morning with our script partner. And one time, it was like my first listing that I got in Bold, and it was like, I don't know, it was like 300,000 maybe. And he was like, well, I don't know. We've been friends with this realtor forever, and I used my Bold script. I was like, you know what? Friendships are great. Your house has been on the market for 6 months and it hasn't sold. You don't owe your friend anything, but you do owe yourself the very best. And I'm the best. I'm a great salesperson, and you want to hire me because. And I was like, damn, I said that. But it's because we practiced it at Bold.
Nice.
And I was in my car. I didn't have my script in front of me, but I repeated it, so I remembered it. And I owned it in that moment. He was like, okay, I'm going to sign with you. Can you send me the papers now? About a month ago, I was calling on FSBOs, and I called this guy. He had a piece of land. It was like $11,000. That's all he was selling for in Arizona City. And he was like, I was like, yeah, you should just list it with me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay. And I was like, but I'm not going to list it for 10%, because I'm not going to get anything. I'm not going to sell your house for $900. I said, my minimum is $3,500. He goes, what, $3,500? He said, well, if you can give me this, it's like, all I need is 8 out of it. If you can give me 11.5, you can get your $3,500. I said, okay, great. Can I send you the paperwork now? Never even met the guy. Never even met the guy. The same day, somebody sent him a contract before I even got my sign in the yard. And he said, no, I just hired a realtor, so he waited it out. He waited it out, and then they came back to the table. He's like, I'm just going to take this. He's like, I'll still pay you, because you called me and nobody else did. Still paid me. It just closed like a week ago. And somebody stole my sign after I hadn't put it in books. That was another story. I get lands, when I list land, my signs get stolen for some reason. So if you can avoid putting a sign up, maybe avoid it, or put big post sign, because somebody stole it twice. The sign and the post. So I had to pay the sign post company, and I lost a nice sign.
So I have a question on the FSBO. So like in the schooling, they say that you're not allowed to like contact them. Is that true, or?
You can call FSBOs. You can't call them if their phone number is on the do not call list.
Okay.
So.
But you can if they're not.
Yes.
Okay.
I would call them regardless. I'm not being recorded, I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm being recorded, but. Ask the broker for discretion. I'm gonna call them. But they say don't call me, then I'll take them off my list. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you were just, I just wanted to know about the house, because that's what I do. I'm like, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm not calling to list your house. I just want to know about I want to know about all the real estate in the market, not just on the MLS. So is the house actually 240? Because I know Zillow is wrong all the time. So is it 240 or is it no, I actually did lower it to 210. I thought you might have. Thanks for letting me know that. Hey, so did you guys have any offers yet on it? Okay. Well, by the way, what made you sell it by owner? You know, just get in a conversation with them. And they forget that you said I'm not calling to list the house.
Okay.
But yeah, you can call them. You just can't be on the do not call list.
Okay.
So when you do your lead gen, so your 2 hours, and then at the end of that, do your thank you cards, mail them. You can mail them and stamp them. If you're in this office, you can mail them right on Janine. Janine has outgoing mail on her desk. At the GDC, Linda has outgoing mail on her desk. So you don't even have to go to the post office. You mail it right from the office. What else? Thank you cards. So it's up to you. You could do handwritten ones. I like send out cards. So it depends. So if it's a person that is, you know what send out cards is? You're like, I saw your face, you're like, what? Okay, so send out cards is you use the send out cards, don't you? No? Okay, so it's like a database where you can just send mass cards, you can send one card, but it does it for you. So a lot of people say, well, I want it to be in my handwriting. You can send out cards a handwriting sample, and it'll look just like your handwriting when they print it. And the best part about that is you can add it to, like you can add gifts to it. So if you want somebody to have fairy tale brownies, like my client Travis loves to get, and my other clients have like had a house fight over them to where I had to go to fairy tale brownies and order like 50 of them sent to them. So
Wait,
that they
what's
were not.
fairy tale brownies?
Fairy tale brownies is located in Tempe, and they just have, there's just brownies. Oh, they're just good.
They're not just brownies.
Really?
They're really good.
They're really yummy.
But you said they deliver them?
Who send out cards?
No, the fairy tale brownies, or whatever you were saying.
They mail them.
They mail them.
So, okay, so this is what I do. So when I send out, hey, thank you for sending me that, thank you, Travis, for referring me to Terrell. He is awesome to work with. Looking forward to closing on his home soon. And then I attach fairy tale brownies to it. So when you're in the send out cards platform, you can click what you want to send. You can send brownies, you can send cookies, you can send gummy bears, you can send coffee cards, you can send American Express gift cards, and they'll put it into the package and they'll mail it to the client. And then usually you can brand them, like all of mine have branding on the back. And they're usually like, what? No, I didn't get this one to you. But I always send them for birthdays and for referral gifts. And so when I sent it for one client's birthday, he said, man, we had just came back from Jamaica, and so they were there in the mailbox, and he goes, my wife tried to eat them without me noticing. He was like, you almost started a fight in here. Because their birthdays are like a week apart, so she'd already got hers, and now she was trying to take care of it. So because they liked them so much, I just ordered a set of 50, and I delivered it to his work. One, I delivered it to his work because, not because coworkers, yeah, coworkers, yeah, not, he's gonna share with his wife because there's 50, but now his coworkers are like, what, who sent that to you? Oh, my realtor. Now he's gonna share with all of them. Like, so who's that realtor who sends you brownies? We wanna work with her. So, and then I closed on one of his coworkers.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Brownies just paying dividends.
I know, they do. Like, to me, that stuff is, even with cold calling, even though that's effective, the high contact touch stuff, like the meaningful stuff, that's what I like to live in. Like, I love that stuff. I mean, I really do that to hang out, but because I get drained quick. Anyway, so prospecting sources. Let's talk about that. So we've talked about door knocking a little bit. So Jamie said she has a neighborhood that she's focused on, but you door knock too.
Can I tell you a story about that
I
neighborhood?
would love to hear her story.
So, I did an open house in this neighborhood. I really liked it. I decided I wanted to kind of like farm the neighborhood. I come to find out it's the neighborhood that Jodi Arias killed Travis Alexander.
Wow.
I didn't know it. And I was gonna maybe do something for Halloween, but I just thought it was in bad taste, so I left that alone. But it's kind of funny. It's like the first neighborhood I picked.
Wow.
And it's that neighborhood.
That's
Interesting.
And I knocked on the door.
How do you spin
I'm like, I
that?
didn't even feel Travis, huh?
How do you spin that? Yeah.
I was gonna do something for Halloween, I just thought it was in bad taste, because I was like, but you know what, the people that purchased the home have lived there for a while, and they said that it's like just a house to them, that they don't care,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
There's probably been some stuff go down in a lot of houses that people don't know about.
Yeah,
right.
So.
It's just
That
very
would
true.
make Dateline over and over.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's like, leave it up to me to find that neighborhood, of all the neighborhoods.
I know. So what do you, when you're door knocking, is there anything, do you have a script? Do you have something you're dropping off? What do you say when you're knocking on doors?
Well, for that one, I was doing an open house in the neighborhood.
Got it.
So I just kind of knocked on the door and let them know, you know, like how you said earlier, that we're gonna do an open house, there might be more traffic, if they wanna come by and see how the house is decorated, or how they did their backyard, or, to bring somebody by, and
Yeah.
you know, it's a good way to pick your neighbors.
Yeah.
If you wanna know who's living in your neighborhood, if you have a friend or a family member that's looking to move in your neighborhood, I also ask them what they like about living in the neighborhood, so I
Good.
can use that to sell at my open house.
That's awesome. How about you?
Right now I am door knocking my own neighborhood, which I
Nice.
love because obviously I'm meeting neighbors as well.
Yeah.
So I always bring a little item of value. So right now I have literally a Costco sized thing of popcorn, and I'm like, hey, I'm popping by to give you some popcorn. Like
Nice.
super corny and has my stuff on it. But yeah, just coming with something to talk about and a gift, I find is an icebreaker, especially in your own neighborhoods where you're not like, hi, I'm a local realtor or whatever, but hey neighbor, how's it going? Like,
Yeah.
da da da. So that's been really good for me. I also use Andrew Greaves, I think he's one of our
Yep.
he set me up on an app that was really good. So
Oh,
it
Tech Farm.
actually, the farming app?
Yeah.
The door
Yeah,
knocking,
yeah,
yeah.
love it. So literally I can open it up and I'm like, start walking, and it like knows what house I'm at,
Nice.
and then like,
Wait, I
puts it
didn't
in.
know about this as a farming app.
Yeah, Yeah, there's a farming app.
Tech Farm.
Tech Farm.
Security,
And it's free.
Fidelity Title Tech Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, total. And it's totally free. So what it does is not only
total
does it track it, and as I'm going house to house, I can make notes on the house. I know their names, whatever. It also sends me emails, and it tracks life events. So divorces, new births, marriages, whatever. And although you're not supposed to know that, at least then you can kind of be like,
It's
oh,
public
okay,
record.
like ask, right? You can ask specific questions to kind of maybe get
I'll
a
give you
specific
answers.
answer. So that's what I've been
It
doing.
ties into a specific house too, all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really,
it's a really good app.
It tells you how much equity they have in the house, if they have a second mortgage.
And literally, like, the app itself is free and it gives you tons of information, and then if you want like the next level up, it's only $7, and then you have like everything to know about the person. Like, it's super cheap or free. You can do everything you need to on the free version.
Scary.
Yeah.
There's worse apps than that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but
really?
the thing I liked about that one too is everyone who's on it has actually accepted to be on it. Like, it's not just like it's pulling out information. Like, they've said yes to it and confirmed that that their information is being used in this way. So at least then you're not gonna get the do not calls or the whatever kind of people on there. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So here's a tool that you guys might want to take away with you that's been working for us for open houses. So when we door knock for an open house, we have our open house flyer that has like lead capture stuff on it. This is what it is, blah, blah, blah. And then on the back of it, we're putting the Keller Mortgage. And so we're saying when people are answering, we're like, hey, just so you know, we're doing this.
boo.
Sorry. No.
Yeah. Oops.
No offense.
It's a good lead generation.
9 times out of 10, they never even call Keller Mortgage. Like,
Yeah,
literally,
but just
legit.
talking.
Yeah.
But what it does is it lets it, you say, well, I know you're not in the market right now. Stop by our open house so we can tell you how to save up to $10,000 if you do purchase one. And then they come into the open house, or you just say, we're gonna have some market information on the house. Even if you can't come in, stop by, beep the horn twice, and we'll run it out to you, like RPR report or something.
Well,
So that's been working really well to get people to come, because even if they're not in the market, but now you've given them some reason to be curious. Because usually people are like, I don't wanna. If people aren't in the market, they're not. I don't wanna walk through my neighbor's house. That doesn't interest me. So saving money does interest me.
What did you say you said?
The Keller Mortgage part.
Yeah.
Stop by the open house. We're gonna have some information there on how you can save up to $10,000 on the purchase of your next home. Like I don't know. For me, I'm ready to record it.
DPA stuff too, I mean, some of them are like
You
$18,000,
can do that too.
$19,000 they can get for free.
That's true. You can do that. So even if you have your lender's contact information for down payment assistance information, you can just say, hey, we're gonna have some down payment assistance. A lot of people have kids that are like, we want our kids to buy a house and they've been saving forever and I want them to get out of our guest room. Yeah, what can you do for them? That's what I heard last week. Like
What can
3 people
you
said
do
that.
for them?
Yeah, my son needs to buy a house. He really does. Like, he's here and I'm tired of him. So that's an option. Then you have, I said RPR. Does everybody know what RPR is? You can pull the neighborhood reports. Yeah, we're gonna have neighborhood stats so you can know exactly where you stand with your neighbors. Get that information out, and they'll be more likely to come and show up at your open house. Or even if they don't, you can say, if you don't make it to the open house, I can always email it to you. And now they're gonna give you their contact info. Well, why don't you just email it to me?
Sure.
Perfect. That's all I wanted anyway. Was your email and phone. What's your number so I can make sure I call, because I don't want it to go to spam. We've had issues with that.
That's a good way, I like that.
But that's what I do for open houses. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna email you this, but I need your phone number because I wanna make sure you get it. And then I always send them a video. Hey, thanks for stopping into the
Yeah,
open
open
house.
houses, how do you get them to like sign in or get your info? Because I've had a lot of people be like, oh, I'm working with a realtor, I don't wanna sign that, I don't wanna give you any info. And it doesn't seem like they're working, so.
I just,
Without
go
being
ahead.
like overly pushy.
I
Go
was
ahead,
gonna say, I
Paige.
feel like I've never had an issue just because I put that sign on the front door that says, welcome, all guests must sign in for security reasons, so they see that immediately before even walking in, and then when they come
I
in,
don't do that.
I'll introduce
Okay.
myself and say hi, but I have like a little clipboard and they say, oh, I'm sure you saw on the door, but you wouldn't mind signing in just for security purposes. Not like, even if they have a realtor, they can just check that off, but it's more of just gathering and typically they fill it out.
Yep.
That's been my best bet, like I've never
Yeah.
forgot that sign and everyone always signs in.
You can approach it in 2 different ways. Well, you can approach it probably more than 2 different ways, but I like that and I do that. The other thing that I'll do is I'll stand at the door, especially if I'm doing an open house by myself. I'll stand at the door, so that way I'm like, go ahead, take a look around. Did you notice this? Did you notice this? When they're walking out, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get some feedback from you so I can make sure I tell the sellers, and they give me the feedback. I'll I'll say, would you buy this house? They'll say no, or yes, or whatever they say. I'm like, what would you be looking for? And they tell you, and I'm like, all right, well, I appreciate you giving me the feedback. What is your contact information? I can make sure that I send you some other houses that fit those needs that you just described. Because now I've built a real rapport with them, and so they're more likely to give me their information. If they're this resistant just to give me contact, I don't really want to be putting them in my database anyway. So that's one option. Another option is to tour the house with them and then get their contact information because you've built a rapport with them. And the third option is make them sign in as soon as they come in. And if they don't want to sign in, they can't come look.
You blame the broker or the insurance company.
Yeah.
So you're not the bad guy.
Yeah. The best person to blame is the insurance company.
And you literally say, sorry, I can't have you preview it? Like,
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what? The sellers have told me, or my broker has advised that we can't allow anybody in here if we don't know who they are. So I'm sorry.
oh, that's right.
I've had somebody get really mad at me before, and
So
I was
what?
like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
But-
you're not gonna be a good leader.
Like, here's the bottom line. You're doing an open house for business purposes. You're not there to be a tour guide. We're setting up business. This is our office for the day. You don't want to be sold something, then you shouldn't be walking in the store. Or you can take another approach and just let them look because they want to, because you just don't care. It's up to you on how you want to approach it. But for me, I have said no, you can't come in. Now I'll just let them go in, and then I'll try to build a relationship after the fact. If the house is occupied though, then I have to get information, because if they steal something, which they could put fake information on, but I would prefer to at least know who came into the client's house, just in case they say, somebody broke my face. I gotta call everybody or report it to the police. That actually has happened. I was showing a house and apparently was broken into after our showing. And they called me like, did you guys notice this, and this? I'm like, awkward. So we had to get my clients, like all of us had to, yeah, it was weird. Thanks for coming. You're welcome.
Is there any homework for Monday?
Same thing, your daily 10-4, and I believe that's it.
It's on KW Connect.
Yeah, it is. If you go to section 3, yeah. In KW Connect,
Okay.
and then if you type in Ignite in the search bar, it'll tell you, and click on the section, it'll tell you what the homework is.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
See you next week.
So yeah, so door knocking. Anybody door knock with like a newsletter? Good. Newsletters are great. What else do you door knock with?
I know on our team, when they do open houses, we do food drives.
Nice.
So we usually do door knocking, and we bring to the door a flyer that's, like the flyer for the open house that's stapled to the paper bag, and hand it to them. And
That's a
ask
great
them
idea.
to stop by the open house if they have any canned foods or anything to bring. We would love that.
Wonderful idea. Love that. Right?
Yeah, I think somebody was at my door the other day. I have something with the paper bag. I haven't read it yet. But
Yeah. So yeah, if they don't answer, we usually leave them there.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet.
yeah, exactly. But it's sitting in my need to attend to. Don't get a mail.
Okay. What about for sale by owners? Anybody prospect for sale by owners? Nobody?
I've called off of Zillow before, but I find most of the stuff people I've talked to, oh, we're not in a rush. Yeah, and if we are, we know like a friend of mine's gonna do it for 1% and da da da. So I haven't had much success that way. But
Is there a different way is there a way you could search in MLS for just for sale by owners in a certain area?
Well, most of the time for sale by owner information isn't in MLS.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I use RedX, and they just send the numbers to me, and we load it to my calling database, and so we just call off the dialer. And
Is that pulled from the FSBO websites?
some is physical websites, it's Zillow, it's
Nice.
it even pulls in the Make Me Moves.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. One guy had his house at 1.1 million. I looked it up. It was worth like 150,000.
I would move too.
I was
See
like,
ya.
good luck with that, Joseph. Call me when you know somebody who wants to buy it. I got a house to sell them on a river too.
I had a webinar a while ago that I was listening to. I haven't tried it out yet, but the guy was basically talking. He calls these people and he just goes and he offers like value, like, oh hey, can I drop off this for you to be able to do it basically? And here's all this stuff with obviously my branding on it, my whatever, but it's gonna help you.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I was gonna see how you process,
Yep.
but what do you feel about
Both I like.
what kind of stuff would you give them?
Okay, so what I would do, if I was offering them tools, I would say, you know what, these are the tools that we use to sell houses, you can have them. Well, all of my information will be on it, so any leads that come through, they're gonna come to me, or my lender. So you can put Brian's information on that, and they'll call either one, or just say, you know what, if a buyer is pre-qualified, you don't want somebody giving you the runaround. You can refer them to this lender, you can refer them to Brian at People's Mortgage, and then you know that you have a good source that has this buyer pre-qualified before you enter a contract with them.
We can vet them out and make sure it's not someone that's gonna waste your time and tie up your house for 30 days and they're not gonna leave it alone.
Now, more than likely, they're not going to get a buyer, but they're gonna be appreciative that you came from contribution and you tried to help them when they thought they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So the other option to that, that's your first part of your question. The second part is in regards to doing open houses for them, heck yeah, especially if it's in like your neighborhood or a farm area, you need to do that open house because you need as much exposure as possible. And you need to show them why they should have hired you in the first place because they're gonna see all the work you've been doing.
Right. And would you say like, would you even bring up the point like, hey, if I bring a buyer, would you be willing to work with me like for a commission?
I ask that first before I
Okay.
even get into any other conversation with them.
Okay.
Just say, hey, I'm just calling to find out, are you willing to pay 3% to a buyer's agent to bring a buyer to the table? No, you're not, you're only willing to offer 1%? Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
How did you come up with that price? You know, and I always say, you know what? I say, how did you come up with the price of your home? And they say, whatever got them to that price. And I'll say, oh, well, did those people sell their house by owner? And they're like, no, they had a realtor. And it's like, oh, okay. I was only asking because usually when you sell a house with a realtor versus for sale by owner, it's usually about a 7 to 9% variance lower than what realtors can get for a home. They're like 7 to 9. Don't you guys only charge 6?
Still end up ahead.
Yeah, only charge 6. Now, do you want to sign today? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure you add them to your database as well. Get an appointment to see their house. FSBOs let every single person come through. And I don't want to say you should scare them, but you should ask them, what are you doing to vet the people that are coming in? You know, I mean, at least you know if you have it listed as with the realtor, it's on a lockbox, you know the people that are coming through are actually pre-qualified buyers. The realtors have gone through a background check, except that guy that was arrested a few months ago, that was like going and stealing stuff from people's homes. That's a whole different story. But they're vetted, they're background checked, blah, blah, blah. They're typically trustworthy, right? And so, you won't say typically, you'll say they're trustworthy. And so, you know, is safety important to you? Is the safety of your home important to you? Like, makes them think, because a lot of times you just have to make them realize what they haven't thought about. Because people are gonna, if people call us to try and harm us, why wouldn't they call a for sale by owner and do the same thing to them? And so a lot of things they don't think about like we would. So your job is to kind of plant those seeds. Because they want to save money, like I said, focus on how much you can save them by listing with you versus how much they think they're going to make by not hiring you. Questions on for sale by owners? Open houses, or I'm sorry, that's not true. Expired or canceled listings. Who's ever called on expired or canceled listing? Just you, barely, like.
Yeah, I haven't in a while, but.
Okay. Paula, you're calling now because you're in bold. How's that been for you?
I've decided I need a local number. I'm not getting a regular source.
Ah.
I still have my Texas number.
Oh, well, I have my Pittsburgh number too, but what we did a few weeks ago was the Google Voice.
Yeah.
So if you set that up with a local number, it goes directly to your phone.
I've used it since 2011. I only use it. That's the only number I ever publish. That's
I
it.
had one but it's still tied to Colorado. It won't let me read. I don't know why. We had to call it.
Yeah. You can get a Google Voice number for here. 602.
We tried last night because of the call frenzy. We cannot get it to switch out all these.
Interesting.
It is.
Okay.
I've seen some apps too that will give you a second number. And
I've heard of that.
you can, it basically still calls your actual number, but you give out a local number and and then you can tell which one's calling you.
What system are you using for calling? Are you using Mojo?
I'm just using my cell phone.
Because if you use a dialer, you'll be more efficient for one. You'll call more people. That's why I say that. You'll get a hold of more people at once. But if you used Mojo for, I think, $10, they can give you a Mojo number. So every person you call, it'll show that local number. So that's an option too.
Yeah, that's a good option, thanks.
And I think what one of the apps Brian is referring to is called Second Line, I think, Smart Line by GoDaddy.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's cheap. Get a local number.
Yeah.
And I was finding I'm not getting any answers.
Okay.
And I wondered if that's part of it.
Possibly. Sometimes hang up and call right back. That helps too. But
I'm getting a whole lot of, for the.
Oh, they
How do I get the side button?
For their declining.
Oh, got it.
A whole lot.
Then yeah.
I think I made 160 calls last.
All by hand.
Seriously?
I mean, I was just like.
So,
That's just last night, yesterday.
so what about the conversations with expired listings? No? Corey, expired listings. Do you remember any of your conversations with them?
Just, they were angry. I mean, that's probably why I stopped calling them, because they were so aggressive and just a battle that, you know, you really wanna fight someone, call an expired listing.
Okay, so here's what I say to that. So they're usually battling because they got a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And they're like, where were you when my house was on the market?
Exactly.
And it's like, you know what? The house was never marketed to me. So one of the most important jobs of an agent is to make sure they get your house as much exposure as possible. I'm just now seeing it now that it's expired.
That's good.
And so that's your bold script, in my way.
Yeah.
So you know what? So you typically, so you just have to tell them, you know what? If you did sell your house, where were you gonna move to? You have to bring them back to what they were motivated to sell for in the first place. Because these are people who have their hand raised that they wanna do a transaction. So these are like, it's like low, it's like, why wouldn't you wanna call them? I wanna do a deal. I just couldn't sell it for some reason. And usually it's because it's overpriced or the condition is terrible. And so we gotta come in there. So now, after you fought them just to get in the door, now you gotta fight them because their house is nasty. Like, they didn't clean it, that's why it's not selling, or they're overpriced and they didn't clean it. You know, whatever the case might be. So, or what?
I said, oh geez,
Yeah, exactly.
they're fun.
They are, but you know what, some realtors don't ever have that conversation with the client. They're afraid to, or they're not trained to have those conversations, and so they avoid it, and then the house never sells.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, I would think, as an agent to be marketing that listing.
It is embarrassing for me, it would be. I had one just recently, and I said, I had the listing, and before you went on the market, I just kept looking I kept saying, this is not the right listing for me. This house is just like a disaster. Like, there is a cabinet missing. You guys promised me you'd replace the cabinet, and now you're saying, oh, just put it on the market, we'll do it later. I didn't feel good, so I said, you know, I think I'm the wrong agent for you guys. I'm gonna release you from your obligation. You guys can hire the best agent for you that will sell your house with the non-floor flooring and the missing cabinet. Okay?
Jim and I were just talking about this. It's amazing how many cancellations, and it's always because, he said most of the time it's because of condition of the property.
Okay.
Sellers want this big payday and they don't want to put any money back into it. So that's just a conversation, like you said, to have up front with the
Yeah.
seller. Hey, if you invest $5,000 to fix all this stuff up, you probably get your $5,000 or more back when you sell, you know?
Yeah. Well, the couple, they agreed to certain things at the walkthrough, and like, and this is one of the reasons I like to walk through a listing without the seller there. Because it allows me to look at the house and make a list of everything that needs to be taken care of, versus them walking you through saying, oh, don't worry about that, I'm fixing that. Oh, don't worry about that, I'm fixing that. Oh, don't worry about that, I'm fixing it, I'm fixing it. And then you sign the listing agreement and you come back and you say, I thought you were fixing that. Well, it was kind of hard, or well, we forgot, or all these excuses. And now here you are with a listing contract, and you don't even want to put the listing active now because the house is a piece of crap. So, or it wasn't a piece of crap, but it just wasn't, I wouldn't feel comfortable having a buyer even buy the house. That's how bad it was.
They might have issues with financing too.
They were like, we're gonna replace the cabinet, we're gonna do the floor, and I'm like, you guys just bought this house 18 months ago, and it was a brand new house. How do you tear up a house? How do you do that? How do you tear a cabinet out? Like, they were like, well, we just don't wanna do that, but you want top dollar. Like, I don't understand. And then the husband would call and say one thing, and the wife would call and say another, and then and it's like, you know what, find somebody else, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So
So
also
that's
know
when
when
you
to walk
refer
away.
them to Open Door.
Yeah.
Or
The price point didn't work for them.
Investor maybe?
The price point. They wanted a certain price.
They still want it.
Yeah, they still wanted the price, cause I got offers, like when I do my listing consultation, I get an offer from Open Door, OfferPad, and from Cerberus. So I can take every single offer from an investor that they have, so that they know, this is your worst case scenario. This is why you wanna hire me, even with all of these situations, you're gonna still make more money hiring me.
Yeah.
If you do these things that we've agreed to. Because I don't want, the last thing I want is for me to leave and now they're on Open Door's website because they remember getting something in the mail. Well, you don't have to do that, 'cause here, I already got your offer for you. Boom, here you go.
You get a referral fee for that too, right? 1%?
Yeah.
Better than 0.
Yep.
That's what it works.
Yep, so yeah, so let's talk open houses, because Paula wanted me to go through a script. So open houses, your easiest public opportunity to find a job, right? We're unemployed every day until we get hired by a new client, right? So you're looking for buyers who are selling, you're looking for sellers, and you're looking for other agents as well. So they might have somebody that could buy another house you have coming or going, or maybe you wanna invite them to Keller Williams, who knows? But, it's for all of those purposes. So, you're looking to add these people to the database. You're looking to communicate with your existing database by inviting them to the open house. Cause maybe they have somebody that's interested and their friend likes to go to open houses and that's their opportunity to introduce you to them. Right? What if you didn't invite them and now they couldn't introduce their friend? Or maybe you live in the neighborhood. Like I have a couple that I sold a house to, and every single open house I do in their neighborhood, they ride their golf cart over. And they say, we're just gonna give you a home. And then they tell everybody inside the open house, this girl is great. You definitely won't go wrong working with her. She's great. And I'm like, I love you, dude. They just sold their golf cart though, so I don't know if they're gonna
Oh,
go
no.
wrong. I know, I should just buy them another one. They are the ones that referred me their kids that have bought those 7 homes. And I met them at an open house. They were like, we hired you because you did such a good job staying in touch with us for a whole year. You did everything you were supposed to do. Or it wasn't a year, I think it was 8 months. They said you did everything you were supposed to do and we reward that. So as much people that think that you're being a burden to people by communicating with them, they want it. They want to feel special. They want to know that you haven't forgotten about them and that you are not like every other person that does the bare minimum. They want to know you work hard, right?
That's why we all get a bad rap, lenders, realtors, people, they don't get a call back, they don't, that's a lot of our competition's setting such a low bar, and if you prove that you're way well above that, you're gonna earn their business.
And it doesn't take much.
It doesn't, just do the,
Bare minimum.
Yep.
So you want to invite all of your database to the open house and put it on Facebook too, because you can invite on there. Call, email, use social media, using those tools. Email using your CRM. Invite their neighbors, especially if you know they're renters in the neighborhood. If you know, if like for example, Carly using the tech farm, she can probably tell who's the renters, so you can take them a buy versus renting analysis for those specific homes. Or at least have one there at the open house so that you can give that out too. And I like to just sit certain flyers in different rooms of the house, and so that when you see them with that flyer, you know exactly who you're dealing with. So like if somebody picks up a rent versus buy, you know they're renting, and so you can have a conversation. So which house are you guys renting in the neighborhood? You know, or if they pick up 1031 exchange, are you guys doing a large transaction, or why are you tell me what you, I noticed you picked up the 1031 exchange, tell me what you are looking to find out about that. So it helps you create those conversations. Getting appointments, asking for referrals, so even if they're not in the market, just say, that's awesome. Most people aren't when they come to open house, and we love the looky-loos. Tell me what you know about the neighborhood. So who's your favorite realtor right now? Like other than a musician. Who's your favorite realtor right now? You are. That's all exactly what I wanted to hear. So if you have a friend or family member, how are you gonna get them over to me? Well, this is what I'd like you to do. So you're having that conversation. And getting appointments, adding them to your database, putting them on your marketing campaign. So you wanted me to go over a script, Paula. What did you want to know?
You were saying something about how you converted somebody. I wanted to just hear the script you used that you're converting with.
Oh, it's really simple. So they walk in the open house and I say, are you here to buy a house? Or are you here because you're going to list a house in the neighborhood? Or you live in the neighborhood? One or the other. And they say, dang, that's direct. And I say, I'm just saying, which one is it? And then they say, oh, we live in the neighborhood. I say, okay. curious. And so when they live in the neighborhood, I know they have a house to sell. So I know I'm marking them as a seller in my head. And so I'm gonna try to sell them the house because they're interviewing me to list their house. Right? So that's how I take it. So tell me, are you recording me? Oh God.
I'm not gonna be able to write this fast.
Okay.
Wishing I had.
Ah!
I can't
I
write
was
the
like,
notes
oh, it's
fast
awkward
enough.
because I'm holding it.
Use a filter,
Just
just kidding.
now.
Give me the butterflies.
Yeah, give me butterflies. I'm kidding. So,
I just wanted to hear that part.
no, it's okay. So I like to say that to them. I got that from another Keller Williams agent. So like, are you here to buy a house or are you just living in the neighborhood? Do you live in the neighborhood? And then they just tell you. I mean, they really do. And that's how you create the dialogue with them. And then after that, you just find out what exactly is it now. What other houses do you know about in the neighborhood? How many open houses have you been to? Oh, okay. Do you just like to go on open house over the weekend, or are you looking for decorating tips? Like, you gotta figure out what makes a person just randomly go to open houses. We know it's to interview us, right? So always keep that in mind. They're interviewing. So dress like you wanna get a job, you know? Some people wear flip-flops and jeans to open houses, and it works for them. I say dress for best case scenario, don't do that. I know that seems like minor, but I say that because if you are interviewing for a job at the open house, think about how many people are you're likely. Or also think about the neighborhood too. Like if you're too stuffy, like you don't wanna be in like a three-piece suit in a $200,000 condo, you know? Or $200,000, you know, just think about that. Don't overdress for the price point either. Make sense? And then, so this is how I say plan open houses. You plan them with your end in mind. So you may only be doing a 2-hour open house or a 4-hour. I only do 2-hour open houses. 10 to 12, 12 to 2, 11 to 1. 11 to 1 is like my sweet spot. If you can't get it by 2, then I would say do like 3 to 5. Because by that time people are at soccer or baseball or whatever they're at. So you need to plan your pre-open house. So that's how long will it take you to set up signs? So you got that. How long will it take you to set up the house? So I always say set up the house first, then go do your signs, like back in from the house so people aren't following you back to the house. So that's do it from the house to where you want it to start. Then, let's see. Then after that, you're at the house, you're set up. Then you're getting communication with people, you're getting contact information. As soon as you get the contact, if you have a break in there, you're sending them an immediate email, and you're sending them similar other properties in the neighborhood. And you just keep that search going to them. But you also want to make sure you text them like a video saying, hey, it was great meeting you at the open house. Let me know if there's anything I could do for you. Is there anything I can do for you? One or the other. And if you don't have time because you have a busy open house, make sure that you have time that's set up after the open house to call those prospects back, meaning, or add them to the database. So like we have Samantha, you just send it to her and she'll add them. But you want to make sure that you're on top of it, because if they visit 7 open houses and only one person follows up, they're likely to go with the person who did follow up. So you don't want to wait till Monday, you want to follow up today. Another thing with open houses, when they're in there and they like the house, they say, oh, I don't like this. Make sure you have a list of other houses in the neighborhood and just say, well, what works better for you? Well, I finished the open house at 12 today. I can show you the house at 12:30. What, do you want to meet over there at 12:30? Try to get an appointment right away. Like, you want to be their realtor. Like, so you tell them, you know, just so you know, you're my client now. We're realtor client now. They put that in their head. And if you make the connection, it's not gonna sound weird coming from you. Cool, right? Does that help?
Yeah.
And then one of the things I like with Carly and Paige, they like to do like a quick tour, right? Don't you do a quick tour of the house?
I do a half tour, so I only show them like maybe the
Teaser.
front bit. Yeah, exactly. A teaser tour.
Mhm.
Yeah, just the highlights or just the main space, and then have to check it out for the rest of it.
Because your goal with social media, and we're gonna wrap up in just a minute. Your goal with social media is to stay top of mind. Well, I mean, obviously you want leads, but where you're gonna see the most benefit is staying top of mind, so that when they have a referral, they're sending it over to you. Okay, so that's your benefit. So even if they don't have a house to sell, they're gonna be like, oh, I just saw Carly do an open house online. She can help you. You know? Oh, wait a minute. I got an email from a girl. I always get them. Let me give you, oh, it's Tia, that's her name. Call Tia, you know? And so that's your purpose with staying in front of people, is so that when that time comes, they call you, they email you, they text you, whatever the case may be. So in the book it tells you don't use your personal page for social media. I think you have to have a good mix. Like the way I like to do it, I'm not saying it's the right way, just the way I do it. But the way that I like to do it is to make it real estate-ish, but make it more personal. So like, I don't know, can you think of something I've made? I can't think of anything because I just do it. No.
It's more about the client than it is the house. Like, yay, we closed on their house. It's like, no, we helped this family. You know.
Oh yeah, there you go. I didn't post it on my personal, well I did share it. It's like we just closed on a deal with the guy and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. This is the highest selling property in the neighborhood. That's very real estate-y though. It was all real estate. I'm trying to think of one where I didn't. I do a lot that are all real estate, but they're not real estate.
You're saying on your personal, or you have two different ones?
I have a business page and I have two business pages and a personal one.
I did one at the beginning of my like real estate career, and it was more like the funnier side of things. Like it was the summertime, I'm setting up signs, I'm dripping sweat, like or whatever. And it was just like a little interview thing, so it's personal, but it was I'm doing my job.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I can't think of one that I've done, but that is like so true. So you're talking about doing that. It's hot. What the heck? But you got that little plug in that you're in real estate. So like you try to find ways to make it much more personal. Murder House, that was a good one.
Yeah, Murder House was good.
We showed a condo and we nicknamed our clients nicknamed it Murder House because it seemed like somebody got murdered there.
Yeah,
it was a creepy house.
Went down there.
And so they called it Murder House.
That's hilarious.
Or like the one that I posted the other day and it was just a pool and it was like, just working late tonight. My clients are already talking about skinny dipping. Do you think that's a good sign?
That is awesome.
So like that was it was real estate, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I like the funny, like a lot of the memes too. They always make me laugh.
The memes are crazy.
It's so funny.
So just try to find ways to make it not like don't post just listed, just sold. Because what does that tell anybody? Nothing. Doesn't tell them I want to connect with you.
Or I did an open house at a neighborhood that had no HOA and all the front doors were painted like bright colors. So I did a post that, benefit of living with no HOA. You can have a yellow front door.
That's super cute. I love it. I know a girl on Instagram who only posts doors. She's a realtor and it's all about doors, front doors. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
She has a lot of followers?
Yeah, like 3,000.
Wait, she loves front doors?
Yeah.
There's a door project. It's about like people just go and take pictures of random people's front doors.
Like the way they're decorated, right? Like the
Usually it's a style of door, sometimes it's decorated, it's all kinds of stuff. But she always ties it to front doors.
Okay.
I know. All right, so we're gonna wrap up, you guys. So the one section we didn't touch was agent to agent referrals. And I would say read in your book in regards to that. And then, because there's a gold mine in agent to agent referrals and how you can generate business from other agents in other states. So think about where people move from most often and try to make those connections with those agents. Whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, that's where you can kind of start the relationship. Any ahas that you guys would like to share? Maybe a couple. Anybody have an aha? Not a one?
No, it's Friday.
I think for me it was most of your like verbiage. Like I was writing down those key words to remember and then obviously kind of make it my own, but just having those just saying in a certain way I feel like will put a whole new spin on it for depending on who I'm talking to.
Interact with people.
Yeah. In your way, right? Yeah.
Like I took Ignite in August, the whole thing, and then so just how you say things versus some of the other instructors feels more like you talk to everybody as if everyone's already your friend.
Yes.
So you know what I mean? Like everyone else always, even with their trying to be your friend way, it still sounded salesy.
Yes.
So it's nice to hear how you would say things because it truly is like genuine when you say it. So
yeah. My goal is for when I'm in a relationship with a client, I want them to while we're doing the deal, or if we go to lunch or happy hour or something, I want them to meet the same Tia at all times. I don't want them to have any surprises. Does that make sense? So be yourself. Yourself is your very best representation of who you are, and that's what people are gonna connect with, your authenticity. So you don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to do things, should do things a certain way, but you should do it to where it's true to who you are. Carly, I don't know you, but I love, when I look at your social media, I feel like I know you. So keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing, because I feel like I know exactly who you are, and if we met, you'd be exactly that person. Well, we have met, and you're exactly that. So that's a good thing. So keep doing that.
Thank you.
Okay. So, all right. So that's Friday. So you guys don't forget to do your 10-4s. If you're doing an open house, make sure you keep track of what your results were. See if you can win a for sale by owner or something over the weekend.
Congratulations.
And if you need Paige on the connection thing, like getting let's talk about that. I'm happy to have a conversation. Like you can do a phone call or something. And I have some ideas that could help you.
Okay, yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
That was
welcome.
really good.
Yes.
Good job, Tia.
Did you see?
Certificate of completion.
He made me a license because I told him, so at home, I have a wall of like our college degrees and like my cosmetology license and everything, and I have a blank frame since I signed up for real estate school back in March. And I've just been staring at this like blank frame, like,
Oh, yeah.
basically yelling in the face about how I'm not licensed yet. I was like, printing my license, I just like this ugly sheet of paper, and I was like, he's all sorted. And so he went to be a nice.
That was so nice of him.
Okay, are you sure it's just
That was nice.
Yeah, it was super bummed it was ugly, it wasn't like a real like license.
That was legit.
But
You got like silver foil paper.
They have pens, they have like sign-in sheets for you, they have little candies, whatever, and.
So are you going right now?
But it's like a whole, there's tons of stuff in
No,
there.
my
some
husband
that I use,
said
some that I don't, but it's like a little box.
He got me
right
taken
into
care
the
of.
door. Oh, yeah.
Everything you're done?
Come on, you're on.
Thanks, Tia.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
You too.
So yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a lifesaver, that little sign.
I know. We can hear all that.
I'm trying to look at that.
It's different on this one, just doing it from the
It's a little
phone.
bit different.
Putting it in the
Yeah.
freedom so that it like stays.
Thanks for staying. I think you did, but like good.
Like, this is crap.
Great job.
Thanks. I tried.
What are you up to for the rest of the day?
Good job, seriously.
I don't know, that chick is all freaking houses.
Oh, good, okay, good. You're still doing nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I know I'm door knocking again today.
All right.
Good luck on Sunday.
Oh, I'm gonna eat my burrito.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if it's cold.
Seriously?
You have your burrito?
I'm so serious.
That's the hot for me.
There's no meat in it, so.
Yeah.
And you get $12 still for me.
Yeah. Oh, look at me. Oh, look at that.
I know. I have all those weird things that bother me.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, see you, Tia.
So, yeah, it's only like once in a while that they have a professional come in, and they give you the options to like do the whole cleanup or whatever, but they give you a free one. So you just have to choose whatever one you want. But I also do photography on the side, if you ever want to